Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
That's right. We are both back.
That's right. Reunited.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
We're back again, brother.
Yes, I am Chris Zane.
And you know me, I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
The one and only Chad Lee has returned from Kansas City.
That is true. Yeah.
Yes, and it is episode 47 of Fringe Fanatics.
The John Lynch episode.
That's right. The current general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
47, his whole career. A legendary 47. And already in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. Played strong safety for 15 seasons, primarily with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he won a Super Bowl with John Gruden, and that one hell of a team that Tony Dungy built for John Gruden to take over, to take to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then he played for the Donkeys and the Patriots there at the end.
If anybody's a fan of hard-hitting football, type in John Lynch highlights, and you will see destruction.
Yeah, most of his hits nowadays would get him suspended.
No doubt. He would get banned from the NFL.
But he was a 9-time Pro Bowl selection through his career, and he was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2021. So welcome to the John Lynch episode of Fringe Fanatics.
Damn right.
Chad, how was your trip, sir?
It was pretty good, man. We went to my girlfriend's family to kind of help out with things and mowed the yard for her old man, cooked a couple meals. He has a pool, like an in-ground pool, so that is a huge benefit there. So had a lot of fun, kind of just like playing with the kids. Her nieces and nephews came over, and then we had a barbecue on Saturday. I got reminded that I still have an issue with my competitiveness, I guess. Yeah.
Were you trying to take out little kids?
No, not then. Sometimes I do that. Thursday night, her friends are in this like fitness class, and once a week they do like an activity. Most times they do sand volleyball. And Yeah, Hannah's done it whenever she's gone back before, but now I got to join her. And, it's like, it's a fitness class. So, like, really the only, like, really fit people in the class are the trainers, like the instructors. There's 2 of them. It's like a married couple. But the rest of everybody else is just kind of, like, normal people.
Yeah, normies.
Yeah. And Hannah and I were, we're a little more fit than the rest of the people. There were some other people there that were definitely in shape. But, yeah, I took it, I think, a little too serious. I want to win. And it was a lot of fun. I definitely was, like, trying to make it where I wasn't like losing my shit like a psycho out there, like Bobby Knight.
Pull your shit together.
But I definitely, there's a couple times where I fucked up and I didn't like get the ball over the net or something, or like somebody like messed up.
Like, what the fuck?
And Hannah says to me, she's like, "Are you having fun?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, fix your face."
You just thought they're all pissed.
I know it. I'm like,
damn it,
I'm here to win. Volleyball. We're trying to qualify for the state championship here.
There used to be a cool indoor volleyball place. I mean, there might still be another one that it was over in Broomfield a long ass time ago, and it was like a big warehouse that they just put like 4 or 5, maybe more than that. I don't remember. 6 would probably be a better number of like just beach volleyball courts inside.
Like sand too?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah, that'd be fucking cool.
It would be pretty cool.
She wants to join like somewhat like a rec league, just one that's like I've looked into it before, and some of them like they even say in there like just only to have fun, or some of it's like lightly competitive.
That never happens.
Yeah. So
there's always one guy or one girl for that matter.
Probably
if it's co-ed.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start a Fringe Fanatics fucking thing. I mean, I don't know how much more time we have in life, but I mean, we could start a softball league.
That would be
softball team.
Damn good time. I love softball.
They used to have the ones where you'd put a fucking keg at every base. And, like, when you went to the base, you had to drink a beer. And it's just pandemonium. I don't think they allow open drinking like that.
Probably not.
Rec softball fields anymore.
Someone probably gets dehydrated and has alcohol poisoning. But, yeah, other than that, man, it was a good time. Thanks for holding down the fort here. How was your weekend?
It was interesting. Doing the pod by myself, I have a newfound respect for anybody who does a radio show by themselves.
Oh, yeah, that'd be tough.
couldn't imagine doing that for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I was relatively fine while Travis was on, but then as soon as Travis left, it just went off the rails. And I, anxiety, and I was waiting for Travis. We both got off late. We didn't start recording till like fucking 7.
Damn.
Or almost 7:30.
That's pretty much like what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, pretty
Almost.
close, but yeah.
Did you listen to the newest? I meant to. I finished asking you this earlier. The newest Theo Vaughn podcast. He did it by himself, and it really is like that's why you shouldn't feel bad, dude. Because even the pros,
it's fucking hard.
he just starts it off and he's like, "All right, what's up, guys?" And it's just like he's talking to a wall, but I mean, it's hilarious because it's Theo. But yeah, you'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I will have to listen to that one. I listened to the one with Hulk Hogan not too.
That was awesome.
The
That
pretty
was
good one.
Really
yeah.
fucking cool.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was pretty good. Me and Travis had a good time for the majority of it. We both got pretty intoxicated, I found out.
Yeah.
Because I listened to the Knee Circles podcast today. And shout out Knee Circles. I don't know if you haven't yet. I said that about 30 times in the final minutes
I'll
of the
shout
show.
him out. He says he hates my hair, and I'll just say, I hate your face, Travis.
Oh, and so it begins.
I don't even know what your face looks like, but
Oh, no.
because your
dogging on
blood bleeds orange and blue, I'm sure it's ugly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, that's just part of it.
But yeah, go check them out. But yeah, he was saying on the podcast, he's like, yeah, Chris told me it was going to be like a half hour, and then like an hour and a half later and 5 drinks later, I was very intoxicated. And I was like, that's usually what happens.
That is what happens. When we first started doing this, we got pretty buzzed. We definitely did.
Yeah, there was a
dialed
few
it back.
episodes where it was like every once in a while some stuff can happen. Sometimes you don't eat enough throughout the day, and that'll get you.
That's why I started.
Yeah.
I was like, I just snacked on Chex Mix before this. I was like, yeah.
Sometimes you can have a little snack if you're
When
gonna
you're getting
drink.
old, you can't just like party like that anymore.
No. Other than that, though, the rest of my week was insanely busy with work. Like I think I told you I worked like probably over 70 hours from Monday to Saturday.
It fucking sucks,
And
man.
then Saturday, and then it's like that's what sucks is like it's not like I have a day off technically because then my day off's just filled with getting the shit done around the
That you
house
can-
that I haven't been able
yeah.
to do. So bunch of yard work and shit like that. But dude, our garden is out of control.
Yeah.
If you guys are gonna need vegetables, it's coming soon.
We definitely do. My mom actually gave me some zucchini bread when I met up with her. So if you want, I can send you home some awesome zucchini
I'll
bread.
take some zucchini bread.
Yeah, some home cooked bread.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Pan, if you will.
You
In your
work
native
with your
tongue.
Mexicans a lot. I love it. Well, hey man, I'm ready to do some larceny.
Yeah, let's do some
Some
larceny,
stealing.
man. We're
Let's
here.
steal.
We're back together again.
We
the
are.
gang is back together. It feels good.
It does, man. This feels right.
It does.
Everything is right in the world. I'm excited for this fantasy league, man.
It's getting good. The shit talking is already just sometimes like one message will happen and then it's just like bing bing bing
Bing,
bing
bing,
bing
boom,
bing
boom,
bing
yeah.
bing, bing,
I hear that from a
bing,
lot of
bing,
the people
bing.
that did it because when I went back, I talked to her brother and he was like, "Dude, my phone was blowing up one night." I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't be upset if you just mute it, man, because
Yeah.
there's sometimes I'm sleeping and I'm like, man, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Most times it's Greg and Travis, so that's cool.
Yeah. Or my nephew. My nephew likes
Yeah,
to
he's starting
rile
to chime
things
in a
up.
little more now.
Yeah. He's getting lubed up, I guess. He's feeling
That is what he
he's
likes to
feeling
do.
it.
Cheers to you, Alex.
Yeah, cheers to everybody in the fantasy league, and cheers to each and every one of you for tuning in each
Damn
and
right.
every week. This is the episode 47, Chad.
Hey,
Cheers, my friend.
cheers. Let's get this party started.
Woo-hoo.
I haven't had whiskey in a while.
Oh,
wow.
that first would always get you.
Yeah, it was
Check
good.
out Chad's cool little drink from
Fuck
Electric.
yeah.
Electric what?
Electric Park. It must be a brewery in around Lawrence or something. But yeah, they made like a berry vodka soda Jayhawk thing.
KU edition.
yeah.
They really missed an opportunity to call it Electric Avenue.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Gonna rock down to Electric Avenue.
Hell yeah.
Gonna
It's not
take
too bad,
you
though.
higher. That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Mom got me that. She always spoils me whenever I met up with her Friday night with my Aunt Mary Jo, and that was. Let me tell you this
she
quick
made
little
the trip
story.
up, huh?
Yeah, she did because it's just about 2.5 hours from my hometown.
That's not too
Let
bad.
me-
I
gotta
thought you
just-
were on the southern end of things. I guess you're
Well,
more
no,
northern.
her hometown isn't in Kansas City. It's like an hour east of Kansas City.
Oh,
Really small town. It's even smaller than Parsons.
Gotcha.
So my mom brought up my Aunt Mary Jo, and my Aunt Mary Jo just like a few weeks back, maybe like a month or whatever, had went on an Airbnb trip down to the coast with her husband, my Uncle Fitz, who's in my Nance family fantasy league, and it was their 40th anniversary. That's why they went. They're daughters bought him this gift
Yeah.
and everything, like a romantic trip. So I'm just like seeing her, I'm making conversation. I'm like, hey, so how did this trip went? How was the Airbnb? And she just totally catches me off guard. Hannah's friends are right there, embarrasses the hell out of me by saying, oh yeah, that was really good. We used protection. It all went pretty well.
Like, why did you use protection?
I was like, what? Why would you tell me that? Oh, my God. That's not what I expected. My face got about as red as that can. Everybody's just laughing at me. I was like, well,
funny.
that's my Aunt Mary Jo for you, man. She's a hoot.
I was going to say, as soon as you told me her name was Mary Jo, I'm like, she's a wild card.
She is, man.
Yeah, any of those double name Southern chicks, usually wild cards.
I think I've got 6 aunts.
Becky Sue's.
They've all
Carol
got...
Ann's.
None of those. My mom's Roseanne. That's her middle name. Yeah, and it's
Oh,
wild.
but Rose Ann.
Roseanne.
No,
Yes,
Roseanne.
No, yeah.
There's a space.
Not like Roseanne Connor.
Barr.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr. Yeah.
Mhm. She's a wild card for sure.
Each one of those aunts, they are special in their own way. They're all a damn good time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and today is my Aunt Teresa's birthday, so shout out to you, Aunt Tree.
Yes, and happy birthday.
Yep.
Well, let's get in the headlines, man.
Let's do it.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right. It's time for headlines.
And this is where you will get them, and we are going to start it off with the old foosball.
That's right.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Giving him the business, and we are going to give you the business of football. Chadley, start us off, my friend.
Well, big news came, I think, a few days ago. Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets.
Yes.
That long, kind of drawn-out thing where we weren't sure he was going to sign or not ended up happening. And, yeah, got $8.6 million, and I
It didn't say. It just says 8.6 million.
I didn't
up
see
to
if
1
anything
year.
was incentives. But
And the funny thing about that was that it was Monday, right? Or was it? Yeah,
I
it was
wanna say
Monday.
it was Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. And then a few hours before that, Ezekiel Elliott ended up signing with the Patriots.
That is true,
joining
man.
Mr. Bill Belichick, who supposedly, from what I've heard, had his eyes on Elliott for quite some time. I
Really?
don't really know what that means, but I guess he's been wanting to try and get a little bit of the, Zeke in his life, and he's got it now.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere along the lines of like Bill loves to run a running back into the ground, get as much as you can out of him, just like Sony Michel, help you get a Super Bowl, and then throw him to the curb.
Yeah.
That's what he'll do with Zeke.
Probably, and Zeke, both of these guys just goes to show you what the NFL thinks of running backs these days. 1 year basically prove-it deals where, I don't know, like we said, we haven't seen the details on Dalvin Cook yet. I looked today and still couldn't find any like legit breakdown of the contract, but Elliott's $3 million base salary, $2 million incentives with a $1 million signing bonus for a total of $6 million.
Yeah.
And everybody was thinking that these guys were holding out for well over $10 million. Neither of them make even remotely close
Not
to
even
$10
close to
million.
that, yeah.
And then my question to you, Chad, is
Lay it on me.
did either of these teams just get themselves the best backfield in the NFL in terms of a two-headed beast?
Like with the Patriots having Ramondre and Zeke?
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all.
What about Dalvin and Brees?
Now, that one is definitely up there. The Jets are looking fucking scary. But if you watch the most recent episode of Hard Knocks, I
haven't yet, dude. I need to start watching Hard
I
Knocks.
started before you came over. I'm only like 20 minutes into it. But the first episode was great. I can't wait to have Adam back on. Maybe Witowski, my buddy Witowski. And he's a Jets fan, and see what they think about this. Because, I mean, they have all the weapons and all the firepower in the world. But like what they were saying on First Take today, you can have a muscle car with all the bells and whistles on it, but if the engine don't work, quote unquote, the offensive line, you ain't gonna do shit.
I did hear a clip from the latest episode
Yeah,
where
Robert
Rob
Saleh.
Saleh just went off on the
was laying
offensive
into
line,
him.
basically telling him, you guys need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good team.
Mekhi Becton is healthy now, but he has been very injured over the last couple of years. And then also their big star that they got, I think from Seattle, Dwayne Brown, he is injured right now. So they've it's not like they're not motivated, but I mean, it's definitely a question mark on that team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, with the preseason, we can go ahead and get into this. Is the first full week of preseason this week.
It was.
There wasn't really that many injuries in the games, but there has been a lot of injuries at practices and training camp. I mean, was it Russell Gage? Was it Russell Gage? Russell Gage today.
It looked like he had a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
There's a few others I can't think of. I was going to touch on this in a second, but a guy that did get hurt earlier in training camp, Joe Burrow, it looks like he's on track. There was videos of him last week just kind of like running around in practice, having lots of energy. Didn't look like he was favoring that calf at all. Seems like he'll be ready to go week 1.
Yeah. I mean, when it happened, I saw him grabbing at his calf, and once they said it wasn't, an Achilles, I was like, he's fine. And
I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people can get alarmed when you see these headlines. It's like, oh, so-and-so got carted off at camp. But to clarify on that, they use carts all the time in camp because it's just easier. The training facility, medical staff room, whatever you want to call it, is normally pretty far away from the practice field. So it's just way easier. And so, like, we all think of it kind of dramatic, what we are used to seeing in games, but if it says cart off in field, it's just precaution.
The big thing is when you hear non-contact and carted off, that's when you got to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, they tore something.
Yeah, but if it just carted off and they don't say, like, he just, dropped to the ground. But that is what happened with Burrow, basically. He was running and then just kind of was like, and the sniper got him.
Yeah, I thought that it could really lead to an Achilles or something, but it seems like he's ready to go. Jamar Chase is nervous about him, though, so we'll.
I saw an interview. I don't know what it was on. It might have been on ESPN or NFL Network, but they were talking to Jamar, and he's like, I don't even care if he doesn't start week 1.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like basically what we did with me last year with my hip.
Yep.
They held me out like an extra week just to be safe.
Yeah.
And I do think that is a lot of the issues you see now with the NFL is these guys are rushing to get back because it's so easy to lose your fucking job. You don't want to get Wally pipped. It's easy to get Wally pipped.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Next thing you know.
And
you're riding the bench.
You talked about Breece Hall. That's definitely one thing that you got to think about because he's come back from an injury. And now they bring in Dalvin Cook. They've got to let him know, like, hey, we're going to be cautious with you because now we've got Cook. But you got to think of his perspective. He wants to get in there because he doesn't want to lose his starting job.
Well, and the thing is, I know we've been talking about Elliott and Cook. Both those guys have been on declines, and I do think they are going to be more of a secondary role.
See, that's what's crazy though, man. Is like, and I'm glad you brought that up. Is like, people they sleep on Dalvin Cook, dude. 4 1,000-yard seasons over the last year, and the only player to have less scrimmage yards over, I think, the last 4 or 5 years, less than Derrick Henry, who has the most, is Dalvin Cook. And he's right there as like the best running back when it comes to pass catching and running. It's just, he was on the fucking Vikings, and he did have a lot of injuries, or not a lot, but he's been, had a lot of nagging injuries over the last few years.
Yeah, I think that's been more his deal is the injuries with Zeke. I mean, I'll pull this up real quick. If you look at his last 5 years in terms of yards per game, dude, he has fallen off.
Oh yeah,
insanely,
quite a bit.
So in 2016, he was averaging 108.7 yards per game. By 2022, 58.4.
Yeah, that's
so
nothing.
He's literally halved his production.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's also had some injuries, but with Zeke, it's a lot more just performance.
Well, and he had that knee injury, and he hasn't been the same since. But it's just, I mean, I really think that he'll be used as a guy. I bet he will get less than 15 carries a game. No question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anymore, you're lucky if you get 25 total carries in a game in the NFL now.
Well, I think they're going to use Ramondre a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I think Zeke's going to be that third down short yardage back type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ramondre is going to be your 3 down. Kind of Swiss Army pocket knife guy. Let's move on real quick, though. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the preseason?
I think that's it. I think that's it, man.
Any rookie quarterback things you can think of? I know.
Well, they did announce that Anthony Richardson, which this isn't really breaking news, but I mean, he's going to be the
Gardner
Colts.
Minshew's pissed.
Yeah,
the mustache is
he's
pissed.
He's going to be bouncing back, dude. I heard that Gardner Minshew still drives around what is it, like a minivan or something? That he had when he was in college?
He supposedly sleeps on a mattress he found by a dumpster in college, still to this day.
I think you told me that.
But yeah, he does. He still drives like the same fucking car from high school or
Let's get a
something.
30 for 30 on Gardner Minshew. I think that'd be fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like an awesome dude. It's just like one of those guys who's just going to be a perennial backup quarterback, unfortunately. He keeps getting these chances to, like, he's like, oh, man, maybe I'll get to, like, you know, mentor this rookie quarterback. But then they draft this fucking freak that's like, he plays bigger than fucking, God damn it, Henry.
Yeah.
He's like
huge.
He's like 10 pounds heavier than Henry and
And
like an inch taller.
He really only, I think he had like 10 snaps his preseason game, and they were like, oh, that's a good enough. Well, you know, he's the starter. But, I mean, he throws a huge deep ball. It's just, it's the Colts, man. And Shane Steichen,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool name. Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Steichen.
He was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, so
Yeah.
I bet we're going to see a lot of Eagles type, like
I
running,
mean, it's
Hurts kind of style.
Could you imagine the Colts doing the Eagles fucking
QB sneak kind of thing?
QB sneak thing that they're doing that they're trying to outlaw?
I bet
It's
they'll
unstoppable.
probably do it. And
It's unstoppable with
Yeah,
him
it
because he's
is.
bigger than Cam Newton.
dude, I saw this reel the other day where I think it was in the NFC Championship game or some playoff game where Jason Kelsey went up there and it was like
He told him.
4th and 1. Yeah,
He's
he
like,
was
"We're
like,
doing it."
you know what's coming, and they fucking get it. It's like
Well, it's impossible, dude.
Dude,
You
they
have 3
have-
guys all at the point of attack plus the whole line.
one of them is going to be a Hall of Famer in Kelsey, and
Yeah.
then Lane Johnson, that's probably going to be a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
and then you got Mulata over there. I mean, that is probably the best offensive line.
And he
in
can
football.
sing really good.
Yeah, dude, really good. That
Like,
Christmas
insanely
album,
good, yeah.
Oh man,
It was funny that Kelsey was on that.
yeah, that was great, dude.
I don't really know why, but
I don't know
Mulata's
why
singing all
either.
really good, and then
He-
Kelsey's just kind of there.
He just reminds me of Santa Claus, like if Santa
Yeah.
Claus before he went gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just Santa Claus right out of the frat.
young,
Yeah.
yeah.
That'd be
Young
a great,
Santa
That'd be a
Claus.
great movie, dude. Have
They just
Jason
need him-
Kelsey like right out of college playing Santa Claus.
We're
like,
writing movie
yeah.
scripts right now, man.
Dude,
He's
this is
in
how it happens.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Ends up like, you know, it's like a different type of version of Tim Allen Santa Claus.
Yeah.
But he's like, dude, I
It's
just
the
want to drink
real
beer.
origin. It's like the origin of the actual Santa Claus.
Yeah. He's just so jolly.
For some reason, it's happening in 2023. We don't know why the Santa origin story is happening, or whenever Kelsey
You can
was in
remake them
college.
whenever you want.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the other thing, I guess everybody's freaking out about Justin Fields. I think he threw for 3 total yards in terms of air and had like 100
Yeah.
yards on 3 passes.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because that was DJ Moore that took it to
Yeah.
the house on that first catch.
Yeah, it was a fucking wide receiver screen, and he was just gone.
Dude, it's just like I'm interested in the preseason, but everybody should just take it with a grain of salt.
No,
because
dude, you
there's-
guys should be worried. You lost your first preseason
Oh,
game.
it shows.
dude.
So should you,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I
To
know.
the Cardinals.
Hey.
To the Cardinals.
Hey, if our fucking field goal kickers would have kicked all them fucking field goals and made them,
How
we would have been
awesome
all right.
was that?
But guess what? We got rid of the better one, and we're keeping Marr. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Keeping Greg's cousin.
No, I honestly, we can talk about our teams real quick and then get out of the preseason. The Broncos, the offense, the line is not looking very good. The depth is in shambles. We have no depth. Russell, I think, considering the fact that he's having to basically try and relearn how to be a quarterback under fucking Sean Payton, I think he did all right. He
Yeah, it
tried
seemed
to
like he
stay
did
in the
decent.
pocket. He climbed the pocket a few times. He was also next to our backup quarterback, the first and second most pressured quarterback in the preseason, all of week 1.
Oh, wow.
He was pressured on 61% of his snaps.
You talking about Stidham?
Stidham was pressured on 58, I think.
Or Danucci.
Russell was on 61%. Danucci didn't have that much pressure. Dude, Danucci's a fucking wild card.
That's what I wanted to bring it up, dude. His name sounds like he's the fucking
Ben
Italian.
DiNucci.
Like if you go and he's like do an Italian mob movie. Ben DiNucci is the fucking mob boss.
I think, and it's a possibility things could change, but had they not paid Stidham $5 million, I think Danucci would beat him out. I think the only reason Stidham, they might roll Danucci out just because with, Russell having to run and with the way the line is, dude, you have to have a backup plan. You got to have 3 quarterbacks on this fucking team.
Well, what do you mean this year? Now you can.
I know you can
Yeah,
now. Now you
so-
can dress 3.
Yeah, so that's not
but
a problem.
No, it's not a problem now. But I'm just saying, I think that they need. I mean, some guys carry some teams carry 4 quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you have the ability to do that, but yeah,
I have heard a lot of rumblings that he's been doing pretty good.
he has been doing pretty good, but it doesn't really matter because he's the third string quarterback. But yeah, the Broncos. it's a learning process, dude. They're fucking learning a whole new offense again.
Whole new offense,
Everybody's
man.
like, "Oh, they didn't look that good." Like, they're learning a whole new fucking offense.
Remind me of the offensive coordinator again. I don't know.
It is Joe Lombardi,
Oh, that's right.
grandson of the great Lombardi.
Yeah, that's huge family roots right there.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of nepotism. going on.
But there's really not much to talk about from the Chiefs one. But
No,
one thing
I
I
saw
wanted
that they
to.
lost. So I was gonna
It,
bring it
was
up.
like in the last
I know.
second too.
Same with the
man.
Broncos.
It was
the last
so
minute.
nuts.
Yeah.
But you guys, we didn't luckily have any big injuries from it. We had like one, but he was like probably
Yeah,
gonna be
we
a practice
lost our main.
starter on defense.
Yeah, DJ Jones concussion.
That's all it was concussion. Okay, well that's good.
So he's day to day.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
not a big
you know
deal.
how that goes, and it's
Yep.
preseason. He'll probably
Brain
not-
damage later
Yeah,
in
it's just-
life. No big
it's just
deal.
brain damage. Whatever.
Shake it off.
He won't know how to get home when he's 45, but you know what? It's all good.
Hey,
I can't even get home now, so and I
that's
haven't
true.
had a lot of brain damage. So what's my excuse?
You don't have one.
Severe ADHD.
Let's get into the NBA, bro.
Yeah, I think that was all. Oh, well, real quick, let's talk about Michael Orr.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So Michael Orr, and I just have wanted to say this all day, blindsides the Tui family, and it's also funny that their name's Tui. Basically, he comes out and states that the entire time since the movie came out, The Blind Side, he has made no money, and then comes to find out, according to Michael Orr, the Tui family, what he thought he was signing was adoption papers, actually turned out to just be conservatorship papers, and he basically signed over the rights to his life to the Tui family, and then they went
Just like Britney Spears.
but Britney Spears was more because they didn't feel like she was able to
Yeah, she was crazy.
and save Britney.
Yeah.
She's
Free
doing some
Britney.
wild stuff. I just watched a video of her stripping on a pole, not really stripping, but she was dancing on
It's
a pole.
probably
and I was
recent
like-
too, because she's been.
I turned to Meryl and I was like, maybe she needed that conservatorship.
That's what I've thought too. I've seen some videos of
I
her
feel
recently,
bad,
and I'm
but
like, man,
She might have needed it.
I think she just might have been cooped up in that house a
Yeah,
little too long.
you get a bunch of money and you're stuck in a house. You're gonna be fucking weird.
Yeah.
But needless to say, the Tui family comes out and said like, this is all bullshit. Like, you know, we're basically, this is a shakedown. He's trying to get money out of us. But then you like hear that they made hundreds of $1 millions off the movie. The kids of the Tuis made hundreds, or not hundreds, they made millions off the movie. And Michael Orr has made nothing, according to him.
Jeez. And
And that movie came out in 2009. Let Juno out. She doesn't want to be in here anymore.
yeah, she's over it.
The movie came out in 2009, and it, according to Michael Orr, I think in February of last year was the first time that it became aware to him that he has not been receiving any sort of money from the movie or anything like that. And then I guess comes to find out that what he signed was a conservatorship. So this is going to be quite the thing. And Chad brought up something funny earlier while you posted something funny
Yeah, it
earlier.
was NFL hate memes that was like, I can't wait for the Netflix documentary Blindsided.
Yeah. It's coming.
Pretty crass.
All right,
I love it. Real quick though, what I'm really curious about in all of this is Sandra Bullock's opinion of it, man. I mean, she fucking got nominated for. I think she might have won the Oscar for
She
it.
did.
Yeah.
There were people saying that they should strip her Oscar from her. I'm like, why? What did she do?
It doesn't count.
It's not a real story. She can't get an Oscar.
You abused this kid.
What about all the make-believe stories that people win Oscars for? You dipshit.
It doesn't matter. It's still funny.
I know. People are fucking wild.
That's
Dude. Like,
awesome,
take her
man.
Oscar away.
Well, that
ban Sandra Bullock.
her
Cancel
fake ass
her.
Southern accent in that movie, man. It was
I
like,
never watched that movie.
what?
No.
And you give me shit for stuff, dude. Oh, come on, man.
No, because Blindside isn't a quintessential movie that people grew up like and watched.
Google top football movies to watch. It's definitely in the top
No, it's
20
not.
of every list.
top 20. Yeah,
That's-
I
I'm
thought
not
you were-
saying it's
I
the
thought you were gonna
best.
say something ridiculous like
No.
top 5.
No,
I'd be
that's
like, you
Remember
were
the Titans, man.
insane. Top.
Varsity Blues.
Yeah, Varsity Blues. Remember the Titans. Got to be up there in the top 5.
Replacements.
The Replacements.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday for sure.
I know there's a few I haven't seen that are like older ones.
There's the one with about.
There's The Longest Yard too. Both of them.
Yeah, it's like this. Was it the Swan Song or something like that? About like.
Brian song.
Brian's
yeah,
song. Yes.
Swan song.
I don't know why.
Fucking crazy, man.
Because I was thinking of like Lynn Swan.
I think that's the musical is a Swan song or something.
Yeah, but Brian's song.
Yeah,
Everyone talks about
that's
that
a sad one.
That's a fucked up one.
Yeah.
And then Rudy, but Rudy, everybody talks about that being bullshit now.
Well, yeah, and I like it's okay. I liked it, but it's like I don't know. I've watched it a few times whenever I was a kid, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was stellar.
That's something we're gonna have to do, like in the slow times, is like just come in and be like, we're gonna talk about the top 5 football movies today.
I'm telling you, we're talking about top 5 horror movies or sci-fi movies, whatever, man.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, fuck it.
It would be nice to keep it somewhat sports related, but you know, when we're really looking for things, we can go wherever we want.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It's our show. Fuck everybody else. Let's move in to the NBA headlines.
Take it off. Outlet. Sandy, come on. Sandy.
This is my favorite one.
I love it, man.
T, come out. I'm burning.
Time out.
My legs are burning.
I'm burning. My legs are burning.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Seymour
Yeah,
Hoffman.
dude. Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of the greatest actors of all time,
No
of
doubt,
our
dude.
generation.
Did you ever
for
see
sure.
the movie Doubt with him and Street?
Street?
Meryl
Streep. Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, it is fantastic. She plays a nun, and he is a priest. And there's speculation that he's
He's diddling her.
No, not her.
Oh,
They only like
he's
little
diddling
kids.
the kids.
And yeah, and so that's
so
the whole
it's not a
title of the
funny
movie
movie,
is like
it's like
that.
a-
Oh no,
it's
it's
a
super
drama.
serious
Oh.
movie. It's fucking awesome
Shit.
though, man. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman, dude, he's a fucking legend, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Capote, he played Capote.
Yeah, he did. And then wasn't it Pirate Radio? He was in that movie.
That movie
too.
was awesome.
It's
I
a
totally
great
forgot about that
fucking
movie, dude. I
He was
love
like
that
the
fucking
crazy-
movie.
And that's a true story too. They
Yeah.
literally fucking bought a big ass boat and put a radio on it.
I mean,
a radio
it's just,
station.
It's going to touch on my recommendation later, but dude, fucking painkillers and opiates, they are the devil's
Yeah,
playground. They
well,
are-
he was heroin, wasn't it? I mean,
that is
opiates are.
opiates.
Yeah, I know, but heroin's a little different than popping pills. You know, when you're cooking it in a spoon, it's a little different than like prescription narcotics.
I'd say either way, you're doing something wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Well, not according to your doctor. If he
Chris,
prescribes
if you like
them,
heroin, man, that's your own thing, dude. Don't involve
I'll
me
take
with that.
it only over the counter.
You are a rock star, man.
That's true. I
Don't
have
say
the
it.
ability. Oh, speaking of which, we have a show this weekend.
That's right. You do.
I should have mentioned this in the intro. We do have a show this weekend. It is at the Roxy on Broadway. It's on South Broadway. We are playing with The Missing and Meet the Giant. We are headlining, so we're playing a little bit
fucking
later.
awesome, man.
On a
The pressure's
Saturday. Yeah, we gotta buckle down.
Yeah,
Put
going
on a
up
good
against
show.
tough competition too,
Yeah.
because the UFC
But
fights are night.
if you don't have anything going on Saturday night, the Roxy on Broadway, South Broadway. I think it's right before I-25 and Broadway. So get down there. Show starts at 9 is when the music starts. Tickets are $12 if you get them before. Day of, they are $15. So
Right
get
on.
down there.
Check 'em out.
Catch the Born Readies. The boys are back. Not necessarily in town. We've been here for a while, but the boys are back.
Back on
And
stage.
we're ready to play some rock and roll for you. We got new tunes, new songs you have not
Oh,
heard.
shit.
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're writing the album, so some of these songs are on that album, and
That's
they have
fucking awesome.
not been heard by the general public yet. So, quick digression there. Back to the NBA.
Let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. Where do you want to go first?
Well, let's get into more drama.
Oh, it's-
James Harden is mad at Daryl Morey.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that we have James Harden is not happy problem. It's happened with the it was the
list goes on.
Well, yeah, the Rockets to begin with, and then he wanted to get traded to the Nets, and then he didn't like the Nets anymore. But he didn't want to say he didn't want to get traded because, God forbid, the general public has a bad opinion about him. But here we are again, and this time he doesn't even care. Chad said he was at like a
I think
basketball
it was like a basketball
camp, one of
camp.
his
I could be
camps.
wrong. It was like it looked like there was kids in a gymnasium.
Yeah, there's like people sitting Indian style around him,
yeah.
and like people filming him, and it's just like, what the fuck? Are
I
you doing?
imagine that it was somebody that just asked, like, "Hey, are you going to be with the Sixers next year?" And he just goes
He's like,
on
hold
a
on,
rant.
someone get their phone out.
Yeah,
Start filming me. It's the decision 2.0.
this needs to go.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I'm not happy.
And I will never
look
play.
at my beard. and I'm gonna gain 35 pounds in the next 2 weeks, so
Just
I
to
can
get off
play.
my team. Yeah. Apparently, he wants to go to the Clippers. That's what I've heard.
Well, they need someone to replace Chris Paul.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
But
I don't know. We'll see. I definitely don't think he's going to be a Sixer next year. I know he originally wanted to get that big deal. He clearly doesn't deserve it.
it's just been so weird. Like, they were trying to trade him. They couldn't find a deal that would make both sides happy. And then they come out and they say he's going to stay. And he didn't say anything really then.
Yeah.
When that all happened. And then now all of a sudden he posts this fucking cryptic ass video that he's leaving, and it's just like, dude,
Yeah.
you
Every
suck.
every
man.
time they talk about him, I'm like, I don't fucking care, man.
He could have been like on the level of Steph Curry if he didn't suck. You know what I mean? Just in terms of like changing the game, because everybody was like, as soon as he got big, like when he left Oklahoma, and everybody's like, oh, he's changing the way they got to call the games because of the way he plays offense. Like, he's able to create all these fouls and do all this shit. And then they ended up taking away shit that he was doing because it changed the game too much.
Yeah.
I do feel like he had that chance and he pissed it away.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's excited. He'll be good on the big three, like Ice Cube's league.
Oh, yeah.
Because
or in Slam Ball. Speaking of which, Slam Ball playoffs happening soon.
Yeah. And who was it? Was it Marshawn Lynch or somebody?
Oh, yeah, that dude. He was going off on the
Yeah.
team. That dude, like, I guess there's like a whole bunch of dunks in a row and he was freaking out.
I
I could watch Marshawn Lynch do anything.
She's
People talk
fucking
about having
entertaining,
like
man.
Snoop Dogg narrate wildlife videos, which he's done, and it's hilarious. Marshawn Lynch, same. If you put Marshawn Lynch and Snoop Dogg narrating wildlife videos, funniest shit ever.
just smoking weed the whole time,
Yeah.
man. I mean, when Marshawn got
Skittles.
that DUI and he saw his mugshot, he looked so fucked up. It's just like, oh, whatever. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I was trying to find. I thought it was like public record to get your DUI, like to get like if you ever get arrested. I thought you could just go get your mugshots. I tried to track down mine when I got arrested for my DUI.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was dressed pretty wild. I mean, I was wearing short, cut-off jean shorts, and then I had a cut-off Rick James shirt that said Super Freak,
Nice.
and then a backwards hat. And I really wanted to see my DUI mugshot.
Damn.
Because I never
gotta
saw
be out
it.
there somewhere.
It's got to be funny.
Yeah. Maybe if you contact that
The
police
cops love
department
me.
or something.
It's the state patrol.
Yeah.
I should just call him. It'd be
Dude.
so funny if I got the cop that pulled me over, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
You were so pleasant.
I bet they
You
would
were
not forget you.
Our
man.
best DUI ever." Yes, I've got that to hang on my mantle.
Just frame that mugshot. You're like, Mom, remember that?
Remember when the cop said I was a really good DUI?
Yeah.
Memories.
Yeah. Well, speaking of memories,
Memories.
let's make some with the USA basketball team.
Oh yeah.
They beat Spain the other day, and Spain was the #1 ranked team in the world. And
I don't
this
know
is-
how really, but
I think they still have Marco Rubio, but I feel like he got injured.
no, I thought he stepped away from basketball
think
for
so.
mental health stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I think that's what I saw.
But I know there's a lot of good basketball players that come out
there
of
are.
Spain. Obviously, Pau
both
Gasol
Hernan
just winning.
Gomez's, Juancho and his brother.
Yep, that's right.
And
then,
Pau,
yeah, Pau-
both the Gasols, which both of them don't play basketball anymore. But there are a lot of good Spanish basketball players.
Oh yeah,
I did see Jamal Murray finally
yeah.
came out and said that he will not be playing. Kristaps Porzingis will not be playing, but I think his is because he has some sort of foot injury or something.
Well, I was really happy Murray isn't going to be playing. I was like, if it's not the
Don't risk it,
Olympics,
dude.
don't. It ain't fucking worth
It'd be
it.
one thing if they got bounced in the first round and you've been sitting around for 4 weeks. Okay, go play.
Yeah.
But
Could you imagine if you were an NBA star and then you have some people over to your mansion and you're like, and look at that. That's my FIBA World Cup. Like, cool, dude.
for soccer?
Yeah, like, I didn't know there
What?
was one for basketball. Yeah, unless it's Olympics, we don't care. So.
One quick thing while we're in the NBA. Did you see Aaron Gordon?
Dude, I'm
and
glad
Nikola
you brought
Jokic.
this up. I'm so glad we didn't forget. Thank you. That
Did we
was
just
awesome.
become best friends? Yup.
Yes, we did. I'm so glad you brought this up because I wanted to talk about it. It was so
It's his
fantastic,
second year in a
dude.
row he's done this.
Yeah.
Got
He
him,
went over
hung out
there,
with him.
watched the horse racing. It fascinates me that like that horse racing is such a big thing there because, you know, in our horse racing, the human is on top of the horse,
Yeah, it's like
as opposed to there where they're riding in a cart behind it.
it's like almost Roman style.
Ben-Hur, you know. But it was so cool because Jokic gets so into it. Gordon's there supporting him. Like Serbia's dude. That's probably like an 18-hour flight. That's not just
long
like
fucking flight.
Let me hop over there and see my friend.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. Like that's so.
It
fucking
just goes
cool.
to show that this team's different. You
Yep.
know what I mean? You don't really
Exactly.
see shit like that. Like you don't see when was the last story you heard of a LeBron teammate going and hanging out with him?
Yeah, it would probably because it'd be boring. That's why.
Yeah, he'd just be like, "I remember when I was in fucking that movie."
Dude, I'm glad. I know we're digressing a lot here, but I know I sent this to you, but we never talked about it. Did you see the school? And I know this is a little touchy and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
LeBron always gets that talk of like, oh, he's done a lot. He created that school where he's trying to give all these like, underprivileged kids a chance. Well, apparently all of those kids can't pass math class.
They can't read.
It's like Zoolander, dude. It's a center for kids who can't read.
This is center for ants.
It needs to be at least 3 times bigger. So fucking funny, dude. I love it. But that's when LeBron. I think Zoolander school would have been better.
Yeah.
Because like apparently these kids, I'm not.
He at least
trying to-
cared about the building, and where they were studying.
Exactly. It's got to look cool.
Yeah, that is wild. You would think, but I mean, shit like this happens all the time. And I'd hate to bring up Trump, but like, dude, when you start getting so big, your name just gets attached to things. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I'm doing that, but are you really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Russell Wilson shit with the fucking charity last year.
Oh yeah, I forgot
His
about that.
name's on it. How much is he really?
Yep.
He put somebody maybe in charge, and then like whatever fucking happens. And then it's not good, and you're like, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah. But I mean,
I do think that same thing's probably happening here. Like, I don't really think LeBron James is like out there like, we got to make sure these kids are passing fucking math class.
well, it's almost just like the Zoolander situation. It's like, you saw the original press conference where he was making this huge emotional speech and everything. Amazing looking school. He put up millions of dollars into the facility. But yeah, I mean, you can have a shiny object, just like we talked about with a car. But like, if you don't have the right teachers and the right facilities, and the right structure to make sure these kids are actually learning,
the right curriculum.
it's not gonna fucking do it. Like 2 + 2.
Case in point, and then now these kids are doing that fucking what's it called? There's
like
a new math.
Yeah, that's just bogus, man.
And I watched a video of someone doing it, and I was like, dude, you did like 80 extra steps.
it's
like
like you just
how
get
is
to
that
it, man.
easier?
And nowadays, you can just be like, "Hey Siri, what's
6 times 6? What's the square
don't
root of
need to know,
pi?
Siri.
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah,
I don't need to know that.
it's so
Never once have I used anything I learned in math aside from basic math. In life.
algebra. Never once.
No.
Yeah,
No.
but I'm also not an engineer, so
Yeah, there's people that do, but we're stupid.
last news for the NBA. Let's get into the Hall of Fame inductions, man. This was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a good bunch of people, some who had stuff to do with the NBA, some didn't.
Yeah.
In Jim Valvano's case, Coach Jimmy V was a college coach. He started the is it Jimmy V Foundation?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, which is a big cancer research thing. He had, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch his ESPY speech
It's the most
next
amazing
to
speech
Stuart
ever.
Scott. It's like basically a timer of like before you start getting the room gets dusty, like which speech does it happen quicker in, because they're both incredibly poignant speeches and just like extremely heartfelt, and you're like listening to two dudes who are about to fucking die, basically like months away from dying, basically trying to sum up life to you. And like, I know it's at a shitty awards show like the ESPYs, but when you sit back and like actually listen to what they're saying, it's like profound shit. So Jimmy V, while never coaching in the NBA, as far as I know, was a prolific college coach, was one of the ones that didn't really have too much to do with the NBA. Everybody else, though, Gene Bess, the coach, Gary Blair, coach, Pau Gasol. We all know Pau Gasol won his championships with the Lakers, and he had a pretty good...
He was like a best friend of Kobe Bryant. He's the godfather to his children.
Yeah. And I think Kobe's wife and his daughter were both there.
Yep.
Gigi, I think is her name. Is that her name? I think so. I could
No,
be wrong.
that's the daughter. Yeah.
Is that the one that died? No, Vanessa died.
No, Vanessa's the wife.
Oh.
Okay, we're fucking this up.
We're fucking this up.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyways, he did have some cool shit to say, just talking about Kobe and, like, you know, basically saying, I wish you were here. Without you, I wouldn't be here. And then he told a cool story about how when he got traded and signed to the Lakers, Kobe actually showed up, like, texted him, was like, hey, where are you at? And he's like, I'm at the hotel. He's like, all right, I'll be there. He's like, you don't need to come over. And he just showed up, like, right away. And was just like, hey, we're going to go win a championship. And he didn't really say that. He didn't stay long. Like, that was basically all he said. And then he just, like, left.
Yeah. That's Kobe for you, man. All business, all the time.
Always.
Yeah.
So that one was really cool. And then Becky Hammon also made it in, which is also super cool. She was like the first women's coach in the NBA, and I'm sure she'll probably be the first women's head coach in the NBA if all things keep going the way they are.
I hope so.
I think in the last coaching cycle, she was actually up for the Nets job, I think.
Yep.
She interviewed for something.
Yeah.
So that was really
all
cool.
Thanks to Popovich.
Yeah, and that's who we want to talk about next. Greg Popovich. I think he is close to the winningest coach in the NBA right now, if I'm not mistaken.
That's cool. But he had one of his guys, Tony Parker, inducted, and then also, of course, D Wade. D Wade's speech with his dad was really cool.
I sent that to you. That was really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, he's like, Dad, stand up. And he's like, you know what, man, there was times like we were out there playing. And he's like, you pushed me to points I didn't know were possible. And, you know, like basically just thank you for doing that because it made him who he was.
It's really cool. Pride of Chicago, man. One of Chicago's best.
Yeah, definitely. And also one of Miami's best. He'll probably go down as the best Miami player ever.
Did you see what Pat Riley said about him? He said recently, Dwayne Wade is the best Miami Heat player in history. And he said, that's not taking anything away from LeBron.
Dude, you can't give it to LeBron. He showed up for, like, what, 3
2
years?
or 3 years. Yeah, no fucking way, dude. It's definitely D Wade.
And then he left to go make up for the fucking decision.
Yeah, seriously. And then you got Dirk Nowitzki, amazing Maverick, man. And this is what I wanted to really circle back to is just that we see 3 amazing, like legendary basketball players that are all international players. Dirk Nowitzki coming from Germany, Pau Gasol, Spain, and then Tony Parker, France. You know, it's just the world is really embraced basketball, and I mean, it's just making the game that much better.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the world and like the reach of sports, MLB and basketball, in terms of the major 3 in the U.S., have the most reach. Obviously, soccer's
huge.
Is just insurmountable in terms of outside of the U.S., so none of those sports really have a chance. The NFL thinks they can, but they never will reach that level of, like, you know, I mean, it's just impossible. Yeah. Soccer's been around in those countries forever, but basketball has been one of the ones that's just like, it's so cool to see, and it's only getting better. Like, I mean, you look at Jokic right now, might go down as one of the best ever, and he's not an American.
Yeah, Serbian.
So it's cool to see, and there's going to be a lot more of it happening as the years go on, as more of these guys keep coming out, especially with guys like Jokic, who's just like breaking the mold of what basketball is. You're going to see teams starting to just go find these guys.
Luka Doncic, you know, and then, of course, Wembanyama, you know. Yeah,
Wembanyama's going to be the next one, and now, I mean, that's basically why Popovich is back. He was going to retire.
Right.
Did you see his speech, though? And they're like, why do you, or, well, maybe it wasn't the speech, but I think it might have been like a press conference afterwards, but someone was like, why do you keep coming back? And he's like, money.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's like, I need money. He's like, I gotta buy cars, I buy houses. Like, obviously he's not. He's fucking joking. Pop's cool though. Like, I like Pop because he's so dry and sarcastic that, like, Belichick's just a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's
anytime you listen to his press conferences, just it's just like Popovich is a dick, but it's funny.
And Popovich really started like the new thing with the NBA, like maybe 15 years ago, of like utilizing international players. You know, he had Manu Ginobili, Spain, Argentina. You know, he had Tony Parker, France. And then he had Tim Duncan, which is, USA, but also Barbados. I believe he came from Barbados. And so, I mean, like, he really embraced the international scheme. And I found this quote from him. Maybe he said it recently, but I just had to save it because, I mean, it's just like, I think it was even hashtag Monday Motivation because it's just a great quote. The measure of who we are is how we react to something that doesn't go our way. And dude, that hits home. How many times, like at work, does something not go our way? I get so fucking pissed. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna try to just fucking remind myself that.
Say it one more time.
The measure of who we are is how we react to something that doesn't go our way. I like that.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
I heard one the other day. It has nothing to do with Popovich or anything, but it was perfection is like the ultimate form of procrastination.
It's deep.
Yeah, it's because, like, you know, like, people will be like, oh, I don't want to do it if I can't do it perfect. You know what I mean? And it's just like you have to, like, try until it fucking
I can
clicks.
see that.
And I might have worded it wrong, but it was like basically like that. Like, perfection and procrastination aren't too far off from one another because you're just basically, there's no such thing as perfection. So it's like the easiest excuse to be like, well, I don't know if I'll ever get there because I don't know if it'll be perfect.
That's true.
So
I like that.
Good shit.
Yep.
That's about it for the NBA, right? I don't think there's too much more. We're gonna move into soccer for once.
Yeah, this will be the first time in soccer.
Don't have a noise for soccer.
That's okay. We'll pull one from Kicking and Screaming. Break those clavicles.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Yep.
shit. I didn't even think about that. Well, soccer noise now.
We're going to talk about Messi, who was taking the U.S. by storm. And everybody knows, well, if you're clued into sports, you've heard about Lionel Messi, who has joined Inter Miami. And we've talked about him a few weeks ago, and I think he was their daily dose of excellence, actually. And now, since then, they've played 6 games. Now they're 6-0. Last year, Inter Miami was the worst team in MLS. And out of 22 games, they had only won 5. This year, they're 6-0, and last year in those 22 games they had scored only 21 goals. Chris, guess how many goals they've scored in these 6 games?
You told me earlier, and I totally forgot, but it is like half of what they've scored last year.
Double that. They are already at 20 goals.
And they scored 21.
They scored 21 all of last year.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that is how big of an impact Messi is making. I mean, I am bad about following soccer and MLS, but I mean, it's making me want to tune into it more often. I have Apple TV Plus. If people do out there, they air all of the MLS games. Yeah. The other thing is, like, in those 6 games, Messi has 9 goals. The dude is unstoppable.
Yeah, and then not to mention, I think that was why he was the DDOE. It was like his first game. He scores the game-winning goal, like it was a penalty shot or something. So
yeah, and then I think the next game he had 2. Like the day after we recorded that, he had another 2 goals. I mean,
yeah, I saw the goal he scored in the last game they played. It was like from beyond half the field.
They said it was like
kicked the shit out of it.
60 feet or probably way more than that. But it's just so nuts. Like, we knew he would make an impact, but like he is levels and just eons above these other guys on the MLS.
It just goes to show you the difference between the MLS and the European leagues.
I mean, he's but the difference is, like, he's just one player. So for him to elevate the rest of his team that sucked last year, and to a point where they're undefeated right now, I mean, I applaud them. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. One thing also on soccer I want to talk about, I don't know if I even broached this subject to you in the pre-talks of the show, but did you see that Neymar Jr. has now replaced Mbappe on the Al Hilal team?
Did you see the perks that he gets from being
on
that team?
Well, just so they had to buy him out again. This is another hundreds of $1 million multiple year deal, I think. So the deal will net PSG, so they had to buy him out from PSG, nets them around $90 million plus $50 million in variables, 10 million of which are tricky to achieve, the others being fairly within range. For Neymar himself, he will earn 200 million pounds per season.
Jesus.
And with image rights and publicity, can continue earning an extra 150 million pounds over those 2 seasons. We're talking seasons and pounds here, people.
Yeah.
150 million in extras on top of the 200 plus million he's earning for each season. So if he plays 2 seasons, $400 million just for fucking playing, dude.
And some of the perks that I saw were he gets a private jet, he gets a private mansion with staff. access to all restaurants and stuff. Like it's
everything's
like he's a
probably free,
fucking king, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, just to put it in like perspective, what is Mahomes' 5-year deal? Was it 400?
It was a 10-year deal.
Oh, was it 10 years?
10 years, $450 million, I believe.
Yeah. So for 10 years,
Yeah. That's a good.
he's not even going to make what Neymar makes in 2, basically.
Yeah. That's just unreal, man. Like soccer is the number
Saudi,
one sport,
man. When you got money, you can do anything you want. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I mean that's why people don't realize like football's huge and it does draw the most viewers and stuff. Like I heard there's preseason games.
Oh yeah.
That had more ratings than NBA playoff games last year.
Yeah.
That's so fucking crazy, dude. But when it comes down to it, soccer is the number one sport in the world.
In the world, yeah, for sure,
there's
by
no doubt
like
about it.
leaps and bounds.
Yep.
NFL is a very long second to
Yes,
soccer. So,
there's
and,
no
and
doubt
these
about it.
numbers prove it. But when you have the Saudis involved, much like them buying golf, money
We'll buy you anything.
will buy you anything, including happiness.
That's right. Chris, now let's move into the penalty box.
Oh my God! That's right.
Tugboat.
Oh, dude, I matched that. That was pretty cool.
It was good.
We'll start this out. This is actually the Avalanche's goal horn.
That's cool.
From the 2023 season. So we'll start this one. I'll start it because there is a little bit of Avalanche news. Cale Makar becomes the first player since Peter Forsberg in terms of the Avalanche to have graced the cover of EA's NHL game in this year's NHL 24. Cale Makar is the cover athlete. Super cool. It's cool just to see, local guys get it, especially the Avalanche, but there only have been being 2. Yeah, Cale Makar deserved it. There's a lot of people saying right now that they would build a team around Cale Makar over a lot of these guys just because of him being a defenseman and being able to do everything.
He can't do everything.
Yeah, and it's it's deservingly so that he gets it. But I wanted to see
What
the curse was.
I don't know.
Because I want to say that there's only been one guy who's been on the cover who's made it past the first round of the postseason since they've started doing cover athletes.
Damn, that's just like Madden, dude.
Yeah, but I think Mahomes technically kind of broke that last year.
Yeah.
Because I think him and Brady were the cover athletes. I think there was a
Well, no,
dual-
the year before that, he was the solo cover, and then he joined it with Brady. But the year that he was on the solo cover, he had to miss 2 or 3 games because he had a high ankle sprain. So it's not like he got taken out for the season, but
That's
still
true.
got dinged up.
Okay, yeah, because that is the thing. It was more of an injury thing. Okay, so EA started featuring a single player on its game covers beginning with NHL 97, but being a cover star quickly became an omen of postseason futility. The first 5 such players: John Van Beesbroek, NHL 97, Peter Forsberg, NHL 98, Eric Lindros, NHL 99, Chris Pronger, NHL 2000, Owen Nolan, NHL 2001, all played on teams eliminated in the first round of the playoffs in their respective cover seasons. Since then, another 7 cover boys have been bounced in the first round, while 10 more were on teams that didn't make the postseason at all. So,
Damn. Well,
not a good thing.
we're going to wish Cale luck. Hopefully he can break that.
The Avs are favored to win the Stanley Cup this year,
Oh, wow.
along with the
That's
Nuggets
crazy. I did not know
are
that.
favored to win.
I think I actually did hear about that. I think you told me that earlier, but that's
There's a
fucking
possibility
crazy.
some of those might have changed since I heard that stat, but at one point when the NBA season ended, both the Avs and the Nuggets were basically expected to win their respective leagues' championships.
Other NHL news: the longtime Boston Bruins, the center David Krejci, that's it.
Krejci,
yep, announced his retirement. Which you just brought up the other retirement a couple weeks ago, man. It's like they are losing some key pieces to that legendary team they had. last year.
Patrice Bergeron, and there was another one that also just retired, who I can't remember. But yeah, they've basically now lost their main core that was the beginning of this stretch of incredible hockey. So yeah,
well, I'm sure after having a season like that and then losing in the first round, that's got to feel so deflating.
yeah, that's got and I think Patrice Bergeron literally was about to retire last year, before he decided to come back to kind of make one last push, and yeah, he knew at the end of it that his body wasn't gonna be able to do it anymore. So yeah,
Yep.
the Bruins, they're gonna be reloading and resetting up for the new. I mean, they didn't do too bad last year, aside from being bounced in the first round. They broke every record in the NHL.
I'm sure they're going to be motivated because of that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
that's going to do it for NHL. We didn't have too much there.
Not too much.
So let's get into the MLB while we're at it.
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason.
Who hasn't
in his
been?
Major League debut.
Gonna light your ass up, me.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
He tried the corner and missed. So yeah, let's get into the MLB. I had one thing. Chad's going to be more the MLB guy this week again, as per the usual, since he's the MLB man.
Yep, been tuning into it a little more this year.
Yes, he has.
Following the great Shohei Ohtani, who a couple nights ago hit his 41st homer to help beat the Astros to avoid the series sweep. They're trying to climb into the playoffs. It's looking like it's not going to happen. They're 13 and a half games back. So all of the buying at the trade deadline doesn't seem like it's doing much good, especially with the Mariners starting to win a little more frequently.
Yeah. Well, I know this much. My Rockies are on pace to lose 100 for the first time.
Wow. First time in franchise history?
First time in franchise history. They got swept by the Dodgers this weekend. They struck out 49 times in a 3-game series.
Jeez.
And walked twice.
That twice in a whole series.
Yeah.
How
it
is
might have
that
actually
even
been 4 games.
possible?
It might have been a 4-game series.
Jesus. Well, they are 27 and a half games back from first place. So
Yeah,
you never know.
They're
Not
hey,
eliminated.
Let's talk a little bit about those New York Yankees, who I think are at 60 and 60 right now. And are falling apart.
Yes. They're actually playing my Braves, and I put money on the Braves to win tonight because the Yankees just can't seem to win a game lately. The Yankees are in last place, and
they have been for a while.
I don't know the year, but I really want to say it's like probably close to 50 years or something like that. If they finish in last place, it's going to be historic.
I'll Google that real quick.
Do it. So I'll go over the standings real quick. We got the Orioles in that division in the American League, sitting at the top first place. Right above the Tampa Bay Rays. They're 2.5 games up on the Rays. And then you got the Toronto Blue Jays just behind them. Then you get to the Central Division, Minnesota Twins, 63 and 59. They're 4 games up on the Cleveland Guardians. And 23.5 games up on my Royals, who lost in extra innings last night.
Real quick. Bounce back to the Yankees. The last time they were last place in the AL East was 1990.
1990, damn. Nearly
33 years ago.
Jesus.
That's insane, dude.
That's crazy.
The Rockies do that every other year.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, it's so nuts because, and they just paid Judge all that money. Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
At least they're not the Mets, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Mets are just
spend the most money, and you're.
I just had them. No, that's National League. Duh. The Mets are next to last place, 23 games back from first place. Oh, that's because the Braves are just killing it. Let me just finish out the American League real quick.
Yeah.
Texas Rangers is 72 and 48. 3.5 games up on the Astros. It's still a close race there, but it looks like they're starting to pull away. Starting to get into the leg of the season, and we're getting close.
Yeah, I think we're the final quarter almost.
That is true. And then in the National League, like I said, Atlanta Braves, best team in baseball. We did have a couple of news pieces on them. They lost their starting second baseman, but the guy that just came in to fill, I can't remember his name, but he had like 3 hits and 2 RBIs the other night, so he's killing it.
One other thing on the Braves, not since Hank Aaron in 1957 has an Atlanta Braves player led the MLB in both home runs and RBIs. Matt Olson is sitting at 43 home runs, 2 above Shohei Ohtani, who's sitting in second place, and in RBIs, Matt Olson has 107 in second place. Adolis Garcia with Texas is sitting at 91 RBIs. So Matt Olson has come out of nowhere.
I think the Braves seriously might have
They're hitting
1
coach.
and 2 their hitting coach is fucking nuts because they're hitting more home runs than
somebody needs to
anybody
get
else.
that guy paid.
Yeah, but as far as like MVP voting, I think earlier in the year it was Acuna, but I think Olsen has passed him. But they literally might have 1 and 2 in MVP voting, which is just unheard of.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Then they are 12.5 games up on the Phillies. Yeah. And then in the Central Division, the Milwaukee Brewers are leading the Cubs by 3.5 games at 65 and 55. Pittsburgh Pirates in last place. And then in the West, the Dodgers have retaken first place, and they're 9.5 games up on the Giants. Wow, they have really pulled away.
It helps that they just swept the Rockies.
Oh, duh. It's because they're, it definitely helps. They're on a win streak of 9 games. That makes sense.
Dodgers are putting it together at the right time, as they usually do, right before the postseason.
That's true. They just need some better pitching. And, in last place, of course, you got the Rockies.
Go Rockies! We've got a party deck.
Maybe next year.
There's always next year.
All right, that wraps it up for baseball.
Yeah, we've got one more thing. That's golf. And then I say we do the music break. We'll hit the UFC 292 preview after the music break. How about that?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay. Oh, I'm just double checking, apparently.
Sweet.
Doubling down.
We're on schedule, man.
All right, let's get into golf.
Son of a bitch, Paul. Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Nobody is too good for home.
That's right.
And let's start this off. Let's talk about Lucas Glover,
who has been on a hot streak lately. Has won 2 titles in the last 2 weeks and just won the FedEx St. Jude Championship and a playoff, actually, against Patrick Cantley.
Yeah, and Lucas Glover, his last 22 rounds have been out of this world. He has shot over 70 one time, and that was a 71. Other than that, all under 70.
Yeah.
So this guy is wheeling and dealing right now.
Yep.
And we got the Ryder Cup coming up soon.
So
I don't know if he's going to be
it.
involved with that. I know Justin Thomas, I think this weekend was trying to, or maybe it was last weekend, he was trying to qualify for the Ryder Cup, and I think he ended up missing the cut for the Ryder Cup because he lost out, because I think you need a specific amount of points in order to be eligible.
Probably so.
But speaking of the Ryder Cup,
talk about somebody that's oh, wait, hold on. Let me finish the story about Glover real quick.
Oh, my bad.
Because I just thought it was really
jumped
fascinating.
all over you.
It was like 95 degrees at St. Jude Championship last week, so players were really having to deal with the heat. And in doing that, your hands get sweaty. It's hard to grip the club. And so he did this unorthodox trick where he stuck his hands in his ice water cooler for about 2 minutes or so, got him like pruny and cold, and then that away it leads to basically your hands are going to sweat for the next like 2 to 3 minutes, and that really helped him out because he basically pulled through and won the championship. But I just thought it was like something where, like, I wonder if the PGA is going to crack down on
they
that.
might.
You know?
They're super on top of that. So you get no advantages.
Any
Goddamn
kind
it.
of thing. I mean, God, you can't even wear shorts. You know.
I remember I was blown away when they were able to start using those fucking goofy chest putters, the ones that like go like all the way up to your chest. And they're like this.
Those are fucking weird.
But yeah, just get Botox in your hands. Supposedly Botox gets rid of sweat glands. So
that's probably, that could help.
I was going to just go and get it all around my head, get a nice little like face lift, and then stop sweating. So.
And then your facial expression just never changes.
Like this all the time.
Like, hey, welcome to Fringe Fanatics.
Hi, welcome to Fringe Fanatics. This is the only face I have.
You look like a robot.
But yeah, so that's I wouldn't be surprised here if we hear like a memo's gone out, like, hey, no more putting your hands in ice, damn it.
ice water.
You
Like,
can't
I was
do
just
that.
reaching for a
And
water.
no shorts.
Yeah.
God forbid you're comfortable in
Show
the
some
100-degree
class.
weather and humidity.
Yeah. But watch out for him, man. Glover's, he's on a hot streak.
Yeah, and we're gonna wrap up the headlines right now after we finish this crazy story about Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Phil Mickelson, according to this book, I'm going to have to look at what the book's called. This guy who is like a prolific bettor basically wrote like a tell-all book about like all of the crazy stuff he's done. And a lot of it surrounded around Phil Mickelson, who, according to him, has lost over $100 million in sports bets. And you're like, oh my God, $100 million he lost? He's gambled over $1 billion, according to this guy.
That's
so
crazy,
it's just insane. The book is called, what's it called? Gambler, Secrets from a Life of Risk, by Billy Walters, who is apparently a similar type of gambler where they just are betting insane amounts of money. There's stories, I think I heard Joe Rogan talking about it the other day, Dana White and his crazy betting
it was blackjack,
stuff.
yeah,
betting at blackjack.
it's ridiculous. Like
So
upwards,
you can say
no,
that.
just upwards of like hundreds of thousands, and then Dana White would, it's in the millions of what they're playing on blackjack. It's ridiculous.
And it's the same type of thing with Phil Mickelson, but it's all sports betting. I guess he loves betting on football. He loves betting on just primarily sports. And one of the big things that came out of this book, Billy Walters said that, I think it was like the 2012 Ryder Cup, Mickelson was actually supposed to participate in, and he was trying to place a very large wager on that Ryder Cup. I guess he didn't end up doing it according to the book, but he was definitely trying to. Good thing he didn't, because America lost that one to the British team, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He would have just lost money. But there was a crazy story I heard where Phil Mickelson and a bunch of buddies took a private jet to the Bellagio, like to Las Vegas, and they were like in this big suite up in the Bellagio, and they end up going down to the bookie, and it's like Phil Mickelson and a bunch of other fucking famous dudes and fucking rich dudes. And it's Phil's trip, so they're all kind of standing around the bookie, kind of waiting for him to go and place his bet. And they just keep waiting and waiting, and they're like, "What's going on? Like, what the fuck is he doing?" And he's like, "No. You guys go ahead. I'd rather you guys bet before me, because as soon as I place my bet, the line's gonna move." And it's just like, dude, what do you mean the line's gonna move,
man?
Yeah, like, I'm putting down that much money, I'm changing the entire betting sphere right
so
now.
Crazy, dude. He's just,
so it's insane, man.
It's insane. When you got that much money, I don't really fault him. It's like whatever. I feel like the book was kind of meant to, like, just kind of be some clickbait and just kind of like, get some people interested in everything like that. But it's like, if you got all that money in it, like you said, he lost over 100 million.
100 million, yeah.
But he gambled
$1
billion. $1 billion. So I think he
Yeah, I
could
mean,
spare
they were
it.
saying like he would be putting, like in the morning games, he would bet hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Jesus.
And then if he lost, he would try and recoup that in the afternoon games, betting hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just insane.
It's
dude.
just so nuts, man. Because like today, I put like $3 on the Braves
Get
to
you
win.
$3.
$3, man.
Whoa, big spender.
Yeah, watch out. I'm gonna be a millionaire soon.
Well, you did want to bring that up, though. I mean, you have been placing these little wagers on gambling, dollar parlays and stuff. And
Yeah.
that is a good way to do it.
I just recommend with like baseball, like it's not like football where you're not going to get, like upsets too often. Well, I mean, like in football, it doesn't happen very often, but in like tonight,
there's a lot more variables that affect things in baseball that are easier to kind of not manipulate, but know what's going to happen.
The worst team in the league, the Athletics, are winning right now. And so it's like, it's anybody's night. So basically treat it like a scratch off, to where what I've been doing is $1. You could do whatever you want, obviously, but I can afford like $1. But I do like a quick parlay and just pick 4 or 5 teams, and I've been winning these 5-leg, 6-leg parlays at least 2 to 3 times a week. You make a quick little buck, because I mean, it's like a scratch off. I mean,
my issue is I'm always like, I'm gonna bet $1. I was like, I want to get the odds to be like plus 5,000, so I'm gonna like make like $40.
Yeah. It gets,
but then it's just like you have like a 12-leg parlay, and it's almost impossible to hit those.
It's so hard to hit those. I try to limit it. If you want any type of advice, if you want to do these little, I would do 4 or 5-leg parlays. They seem to hit.
But are you betting upsets or just straight up like?
So
I know they're
the best
win?
way to do it is like bet the favorites and then just include 1 or 2 underdogs.
Yeah,
it'll boost those odds up a lot.
Yeah, because that's the issue. If you just bet straight up winners, like you can bet like have an 8-leg parlay and bet $1 and like win $8.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be roughly around like plus 900 or something like that. You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
but hey, dude, last night made $7 off $1.
Money is money, and then you always have those, points bet, DraftKings, daily fantasy, whatever. Guys, just get at us. You always have those, especially with PointsBet, where they're doing like the dollar fucking free bets.
Yep.
They were doing that all through the NBA playoffs and shit.
Yep.
And yeah, it's easy to win some money.
I know. Anytime
Dollar,
you got
it's
those
not even
bonus
yours.
bet, anytime you have like bonus bets in DraftKings or PointsBet or whatever you use, I recommend doing like a parlay where you're gonna like boost those odds up a lot. Like, don't do it on something that's just like a money line of like minus 125.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make much from that. But
Show.
yeah, Chris, let's
Let's get in the music break.
Let's fucking do it,
Let's
man.
do
Let's
it.
rock out.
Yeah, we've got MESSIAHVORE this week, or this month, and especially this week. This song is called Discipline of Violence. So it's about to get violent in here. I don't know if you're ready for it. Are you ready?
Let's rage.
Oh my God, let's do it. And we are back from the halfway point of Fringe Fanatics. You just heard MESSIAHVORE, Discipline of Violence. If you haven't yet, please go like and follow them on all things streaming so you can stay up to date on all their latest releases. That song was off their newest album, Transverse, which you can also find on all of those streaming services. If you haven't yet, please go to MESSIAHVORE.com. You can catch updates on all their latest shows as well as buy merch and buy music directly from the band. As we always say, please buy directly from us. it means a lot. Like literally one T-shirt is equal to like thousands of streams.
Yeah.
Just because of the minute amount we make from each stream. So
And going to the live shows, which you have one this Saturday.
again, yes, this Saturday at the Roxy on Broadway, the Born Readies, the Missing, and Meet the Giant.
See
Go check
Andrew
it
in
out.
action.
Andrew, he's always smiling when he's drumming. He looks like he's having a great time. You
Brett's
should too.
always shredding.
Brett shreds. Dan's always holding down the rhythm section with the
Yeah.
thumping bass tones.
Digging it.
Digging it like a garden. All right, man. We're at the halfway point. We talked a little bit about the UFC from the previous week, the Sandhagen last week while you were gone.
Yeah.
Neither of us really watched too much of this fight night, although I did see there was a Twister submission.
Oh yeah, that
The
was pretty cool.
third or fourth. Is it
Only the
third?
third in history.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
It is
Yeah.
one of the strangest looking submissions because you're like, it just kind of looks like he's hugging him weird, and then all of a sudden there's like, my spine.
Yeah, you see where like they're basically twisting their body,
Yeah,
twerking it, and your neck is like getting twisted like that. It looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen that often because it's fucking hard to do.
I said to my buddy
Oh,
Josh,
shit.
yeah, we're gonna take a
Okay.
shot. Let me just finish this. My buddy Josh, who I think we'll have on, I'm gonna talk to him about it next
Josh
week.
Harris.
He is a really good dude when it comes to UFC. Really good dude indeed, but just when it comes to UFC, he really knows his shit. And so I think we'll have him on to recap. And we were talking about this, just how that whole Twister thing. I was telling him, I said, dude, it looks like a move that you would do to your little brother when you're fighting him.
Yeah, where there's like nothing else
Say
left. Like I'm just
uncle.
gonna
Say
wrench your
uncle.
spine, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
don't even
still-
know if this is a move.
Always feel guilty about it. Philip, I'm sorry. All the fucked up things I did to you, trying wrestling moves to you whenever I was a kid. It was
dude.
wrong.
Not to digress too much because we do need to fly through this.
You're good.
But we were wrestling once with the neighbor kids. Both of them were older than me. One was like, I want to say he was probably 17, and we were like 12 or 13.
Oh, shit.
And he legit powerbombed me.
That's what I did to my brother.
Like,
shit, was it on the lawn or what?
On the fucking front lawn of my house. I got powerbombed by like a fucking full-grown 17-year-old.
Fuck, man. If people don't know, it is like the most destructive move. It was Kevin Nash's final
Yeah.
move, man. It was
Stick
bad.
their head between your legs
Yep.
and lift them up over their legs. Their balls go into your mouth. It's
Pretty
not
much.
a very
It
cool
is-
looking.
It is a weird
their
move.
balls go into your mouth, and then you just slam them down on their backs.
It's
from way
wrestling
away.
for you. Things get weird, but dude, you're fortunate you weren't my brother because we had
break him?
a fireplace, and you know, like most fireplaces, there's like stone. We had stone tile right in front of the.
Oh, did you slam him on that? His head hit it?
I still get I still get really
Just
like
the thud.
PTSD of like like you hear my mom would tell me of like on fucking Oprah or some shit like there was this brother that paralyzed him, and I think back to like doing that to him. I power bombed him and his head hit the tile. I still think I hate that my brother like I'm just glad that he didn't
You
get
paralyzed
seriously
him.
injured, dude.
Yeah.
Like I straight up perfect form.
Oh yeah,
Perfect
beautiful.
form.
I bet.
It was
Yeah.
great, dude.
Yeah, no.
Hulk Hogan would have been
It's
impressed.
just- yeah.
But yeah, it was fucked up. I can't believe his head didn't split open.
Oh yeah,
But, yeah,
When you think
dude.
back on all the stupid shit we did, we're lucky to be alive. My mom tells me that all the time. She's like, "You're lucky you didn't die."
No, yeah. No, I mean, it's like trying out
You're
those
right.
moves. It's like we're not professionals.
Definitely not. But let's leave it to the professionals.
That's right.
But we're gonna take shots first because
Let's
we're
do it.
professional drinkers apparently.
Yeah, semi-pro.
We-
I'll
yeah,
take that.
semi-pro.
We're
We do it once a
semi-pro
week.
indeed.
Together.
I got a ring.
Cheers to you guys. Cheers to MESSIAHVORE. As always, thank you for sticking around. We appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, and I forgot to do this at the beginning, but if you've made it this far, please like and follow us on All Things Streaming or whatever you're watching us on, if it's YouTube, because it's pretty much the only place you can watch us. Like, follow us there, subscribe, hit that bell, ring that bell so you get all the notifications. And then please go like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all things social media at fringe_fanatics. You can find us everywhere except for TikTok.
Yeah,
We
fuck
don't-
those guys.
We don't do that.
Chinese
We
spyware.
barely do that Instagram because we don't. It's hard when it's pictures.
Yeah.
Like we're pictures. And I'm like, I don't take pictures.
Well, we do share some good memes. There's a good
Chad
one
does.
up there today.
He's been good on it. I've unfortunately relegated Chad to kind of the social media guy because I've
all
been
good,
so
man.
fucking busy. But
Yep.
I keep telling him, I'm like, I'm gonna pick up my slack soon.
A lot of it's the feed I get from my own, and then I send it to the Fringe Fanatics page because like my feed is pretty fucked up. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Sometimes if you are logged in to both accounts, you can share it to your other account while you're logged in. Like if you go to like hit share, sometimes like I feel like you can go like, oh, Fringe Fanatics or Chad Lee.
No,
like
I guess
maybe.
No, I didn't notice that.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We're not
It works
very,
out.
you know, for being people that grew up in the age of social media for the most part, especially from the get-go, we are not very social media literate,
No,
unfortunately.
I think we're a little too worried about paying bills and working.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll take that over. I'm gonna be a boxing star, a YouTube star. So
well, we're trying to be YouTube stars, goddammit.
well, that yeah,
That
but
all depends on you guys. Let's
Yep.
get into the 292
Let me
of
hear some Mills Lane.
UFC.
Let's get it on!
That's
let's
right, Mills
get it on
Lane.
indeed.
Let's get it on. It is time for the preview of UFC 292, which you just informed me has some of the fights from the Ultimate Fighter
Yeah,
championships,
like the
but
finals.
They're missing one, I think.
What do you-
There's a big one they're missing.
Well, yeah, there's a kind of a big one. We got kind of a
I
good
think there's
contest between them.
supposed to be a fight that is like the penultimate fight of the whole thing, right?
Did you
Like-
see what McGregor said last week, where he said that in December he wants to fight Chandler, and then after that fight Gaethje for the BMF title, and then finish his career with Nate Diaz trilogy. This dude is so high on cocaine, I think he's gonna fall off his yacht.
Oh well, you know, it's all that testosterone.
I guess so,
Or
because
whatever,
I
human
think he's
growth
forgetting
hormone.
that he needs to send a pee sample to Jeff Nowitzki, USADA guy.
USADA.
Yep. Well, yes, Chris mentioned it. The Ultimate Fighter Championships are on this card. They are on the prelims. This is going to be at the TD Garden in Boston. I'm just reading this, Boston, United States. Yes, Boston is.
It
in
is
the
in
United
Boston,
States.
and it is in the United
That's what
States.
happens when I reach it. I'm like, I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
He reads everything on the teleprompter. But no, I'm just reading from the UFC page here because this fight card is totally stacked, man. When it got announced, I was super psyched for it because I remember when Snoop Dogg called Sean O'Malley's fight
Oh, yep.
on the Contender Series. I've been following this guy. So I've mentioned before, but like this is pertinent now. I first got back into UFC maybe it would be about 6-7 years ago, and Sean O'Malley's got on the Contender Series. I'd say probably 4 years ago, and watching this guy come up and now fight for the title. It's insane. I mean, he's just a guy. He shows videos of him training, kicking a bag in Arizona, hitting a dab rig, and then his daughter's over there punching, a little kid's bag, and he's just a cool guy. He's just really chill. And a highlight reel, if you've ever seen one. I mean, talk about walk-off knockouts. He's got all of them. And he's going up against possibly the best bantamweight of all time. And he has a chance to pretty much cement that if he gets a win over Sean O'Malley in Aljamain Sterling. The Funk Master, if you will. That is his nickname.
Funk Master Flex.
Yeah, and that is because he has a very unorthodox style of wrestling, and his wrestling is, subpar to no one. He out-wrestled Henry Cejudo, who was a Olympic gold medalist in his last title defense.
Yeah, kind of made him look bad.
He did. Sterling has the most wins in bantamweight history, 9 straight wins for him, and if he gets this win, he will break Dominic Cruz's record of most bantamweight title defenses. So, I mean, everything's on the line with this, but I mean, O'Malley as a just a sniper when it comes to his striking. I recommend anybody, if they haven't heard of Sean O'Malley, just YouTube him because some of his knockouts are just insane. He had a bout against a guy that's on this card, Pedro Munez, where he just was clocking this guy nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
He is he's tall, lanky. He doesn't have a whole lot of
Very
muscle.
unorthodox the way he fights.
Yeah, he throws a lot of high knees and elbows. He's really good at. The only time he is considered what is his? I want to say it's 12-0. I'll have it pulled up. 16-1 with one no contest because it was like he got injured and then it was just kind of like I think it was an eye poke or something. I can't quite remember right now. And then you got Aljo on the other side at 23-3. I mean, basically, the thing of it is if Aljo gets him down, it could be game over. I mean, Aljo, his skill set is his grappling, and it is some of the best grappling that's fucking out there. If he gets someone's back, it's game over. And he did it with Henry Cejudo. He's done it with TJ Dillashaw. I mean, it's just the guy's ground game is, up there. I would almost say around like Khabib Nurmagomedov's. And the thing of it is, if Sean O'Malley can pop this guy, he's got such length and reach that it comes with a lot of power. You look at the guy that's lanky, doesn't have a lot of muscle, but for some reason it's just like, you
whip them hands around.
Yeah,
I think my thing is like, and I don't know, take this with a grain of salt, but if I was to like break it down, I think Aljamain is gonna have to do something to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have to have something happen that he wasn't either planning on or he fucks up in order for O'Malley to win. I think O'Malley is gonna be more of like a crazy knockout type. Like, I think it's more of like if you will, a fringe type fight for him where it's going to be like, I'm trying to, either knock him out or submit him somehow crazy. And I don't even know if he can submit him with the wrestling style. So it's basically like he's going to be hoping to catch him with something and hurt him bad. Other than that, I just think Aljamain's a more well-rounded fighter. And it's just, he's going to be coming at him through a whole, breadth of knowledge in terms of MMA rather than just trying to strike him to death.
I agree, man. Aljo's been in, like I said, I can't remember how many title defenses, but it's quite a few now. I want to say it's like 6 or so. But so he's been in a lot of, when you go from 3 5-minute rounds to 5, it's a whole nother ball game, and that's why those champions are on a whole different level. And so my prediction is that Aljo's really going to take the pace really slow in the first couple rounds to try to drag O'Malley into the later rounds and then out-grapple him and just wear O'Malley out because I'm sure he imagines that O'Malley's going to try to knock him out in early rounds. But my pick for this will be O'Malley. I think that Aljo's going to. A lot of people count out. And I'll give a little recommendation here real quick. If anybody's really into UFC, my buddy Josh, who I mentioned earlier, turned me on to this podcast. My Morning Combat, I think that's what it is. I subscribe to it on YouTube. It's these guys that are break down MMA, not just UFC, but boxing, mainly MMA, but Bellator and everything.
Follow it right now.
Yeah, My Morning Combat, I believe.
I'll let you know if that's what it's called.
Yeah, please do. But these guys are great. They really, I get a lot of my info and a lot of my intel from them. And they brought up as well, don't count out O'Malley's ground game and his takedown defense, because I watched a video actually just yesterday where he was in a grappling match, and he's done this before where he actually enters in basically contests or competitions that's just strictly grappling. And he does really well. His ability to submit, he's just got those long, lanky limbs where, if you get somebody in the right angle,
like
you
could spider monkey.
Yeah, choke him out. Come at you like a spider monkey.
Come at you like a spider monkey, Chip. All hopped up on Mountain Dew.
And that's what he does, dude. And I just think that O'Malley, I think what's going to happen is Aljo will probably try to come in for, I imagine something like Ben Askren and Jorge Masvidal, where Aljo is going to try to come in for a takedown, in which, in that case, you lower your body down, you lower your head down. And I think O'Malley's going to throw a flying, like a high knee.
A Masvidal flying knee?
Maybe, or I don't think it's going to come super early like Masvidal's. Or it could come in where Aljo's trying to clinch, and then O'Malley throws those sharp elbows and then knocks Aljo out. If O'Malley wins, it's only going to come from TKO or knockout. I don't see him winning a decision.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like, if it goes split, it's no match. You were right. It is 9 total title fights that he has for Aljamain Sterling. He has now 3 consecutive title defenses, and each of them has come against a former UFC champion.
Yeah.
So this is the first one without that happening. This is more of a contender coming up, hoping to get that belt. I'm gonna have to bet against you on this one.
I dig that, man. I dig that. That is the sensible pick, and that is the favorite. Vegas has got Aljo at -258, a heavy favorite, and then O'Malley at -210.
But here's what I might do: I would maybe put 5-10 on Aljamain to win, but I might put 5 on O'Malley to get that TKO. So maybe I make my money either way.
Hedge your bets, dude.
There you go.
Fucking Wolf of Wall Street over here.
I'll do cocaine off a bowl any day.
That's the only way to do it.
Speaking of which, we got to be careful about what we talk about on this podcast. My mom listens to the whole thing.
She does. So
I found that out last week. Hello, Mother. So the one tattoo my mom doesn't know about, she now knows about.
I need to have your mom over for dinner.
Yeah. Maybe we have my mom on the podcast.
I think that would be awesome. Your mom is awesome, dude. She shares our stuff. She likes it all the time, just like my mom. My mom got me.
Our
these
moms
drinks.
are our best fans.
I think they are. That's the way it should be, dude.
Yeah, shout out to the French Fanatics moms, the fringe moms, the fringy moms.
I think when you look at like Two Bears and other podcasts like that, it was always their moms that was like the #1 fans in the beginning.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much, but it was probably there.
Dude, Tom Segura's mom's so fucking funny, dude. It's great. All right, let's get into the co-main event.
Yes.
Zhang Wei Li versus Amanda Lemos from Brazil. Zhang Wei Li is the current champion, the only Chinese champion. She is just a brick house, man. She is a woman I've got a lot of respect for because she bounced back from the head kick that my favorite Thug Rose gave to her, and she bounced back from that, and then even lost the rematch to Rose. And I'm just a big Rose fan, but still came back because Rose lost to Esparza, and then Wei Li then beat Esparza. And that's just it. Is like in the strawweight division, in the women's division, it just kind of seems like the strawweight title just circles back around. And if nobody's seen it, go to YouTube because it's probably up there now, or if you've anywhere you want to find it. Zhang Wei Li was probably part of the best fight, not just women's fight.
Dude, it was awesome.
In UFC history.
The most damage I've ever seen on anybody's face.
You see a woman in Joanna Jędrzejczyk take a beating and go from a very pretty lady to looking like she was in a gang
elephant
fight.
Man.
Yeah, the
elephant man for real.
She had a hematome in her forehead, which means that your swelling just explodes.
Her forehead, I have to do it from this way so you guys see it. Her forehead grew like this much.
Yeah. Her face was bloodied,
she
bruised.
literally looked like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
If you did, we might post a side-by-side of her and the Elephant Man, and you'd be like, who's who?
That, or just like a side-by-side of her regular face, and then this. And to know that she finished... Yeah, that too. It would look very similar. I mean, it's just nuts. Like it looked like someone took a bat to her face, and despite that, finished the fight and went the full 5 rounds. And I was on my feet the entire time watching it at my buddy Eddie's house.
Dude,
like
some of the women's fights are some of the best fights. They're so much more evenly matched, I feel like, and I don't know if that's saying anything. I just feel like there are always like the crazy, like when fucking what's her name, who went to the WWF,
Ronda
Rousey. You knew that she was gonna win because she was just different than those.
She
other
was dominant.
Chicks. But I always feel like in terms of like the matchups, they're very evenly matched.
Yeah.
So like you have these fights that are just knockdown dragouts like all the fucking time.
They are.
Speaking of Zhang Wei Li, though, I watched a crazy video of her deadlift Francis Ngannou today.
Deadlift him?
Yeah.
How did she do that?
He was there, and she went under his legs and picked him up and stood up with Francis Ngannou. And he weighs, I think he said he weighed 290 something.
Jesus Christ. How does he get down to 265?
I don't know. Well, he doesn't have to anymore now.
Yeah,
I think.
That's true. It's going to be fighting Tyson.
Yeah, she fucking picked him up, and he's like, he posted it, and he's like, dude, I can't believe that she set him down, and he's like, what the
I'm so glad you brought this up because this ties into my point of when I watch UFC Countdown, which I recommend every time I do a preview, it is what to watch before a UFC pay-per-view. I had Amanda Lemos, who I haven't talked about at all in this. You know, there's a lot of times these contenders come up in the women's division just because there's not as many women fighters, and you just don't know who they are. I wasn't really aware of her. All I know is she's got heavy hands. She has a lot of knockouts, a lot of knockdowns.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it written down here. She has the most knockdowns in strawweight history. Not knockouts, but she knocks bitches down. And so she's just known for her power. And so originally when I was watching Countdown, I always kind of circle when I do my notes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take Lemos. Like she might pull off the upset. And then we see training from Zhang Weili. And she is kicking a pad that someone is holding up. And dude, I winced. I did not like watching it. It is like, it gave me vibes of Bloodsport when he's like, ah!
Or when they put their hands in that shit. And
that
then
was
they
Kickboxer.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
that was another badass movie. I know what you're talking about. Though.
Bloodsport and
They're almost like the same
fucking movie.
They really are, dude.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme going. That's our thumbnail. Just going. Yeah, definitely in the thumbnail. I dig it.
Thumbnail.
Epic movies. Dude.
I gotta take
Epic
that note. Yeah, no, seriously, I might go watch Bloodsport tonight.
Dude, I swear to God, I actually have Kickboxer on my list of movies to watch because I haven't seen it in a while. And
I still need to watch Sisu. God damn it, I'm falling behind.
Need to. Okay, but yeah, so she's kicking this pad, and it just looks so destructive. I changed my pick. I was like, I'm taking Zhang. If she lands a kick on this bitch, she's dead.
Blow her heart
She's
out her
gonna
back.
Dead, man. Amazing co-main event. I think Weili holds on the title. She's my pick. She is the heavy favorite. I'm trying to find the fucking odds here. I don't know why the odds aren't showing. Yeah, UFC doesn't have the odds up for that. We'd have to look them up. But anyway, I think she's a heavy favorite. Lemos is the number 5 ranked fighter in that division. So yeah, we'll see. Should be pretty exciting. And then we get to the third fight on this card. Ian Machado Gary. He is the next Irish sensation after Conor McGregor. This dude is undefeated. He is going to take Neil Magny on, who is a veteran. He's been in the business a long time. Definitely a good fighter. But, man, there's so much hype around Ian Gary. Super young kid. I think he's maybe 23 or something. I don't know if they'll show his age. But it's a welterweight
He is
bout.
insanely favored.
Gary?
Yeah. I don't know how...
minus 500.
Yeah, minus 500 for Ian Gary, plus 380 for Neil Magny.
Yep.
Just to get back to Zhang Weili, minus 310, Amanda Lemos, plus 250. So Vegas is right there with you. And then real quick, just to go to Aljamain and Sean O'Malley, a lot closer, so you aren't too far off. I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously Vegas kind of thinks O'Malley could pull it off. Aljamain minus 258, O'Malley plus 210. So
damn,
pretty. I mean, not an insane odds.
It's hard
for
to
an
pick
upset.
these fights. We've said it before. You know, even go back to that Carlos Esparza fight and the Valentina, Shevchenko. It's just, you know, you can't ever think like, oh, this person's a heavy favorite, they're gonna win. You never know in the sport, and that's why I love it. Neil Magny,
Mike Tyson got knocked out.
Exactly. Buster Douglas, dude. 28-11 is Neil Magny's record. This guy's a vet, man. He 28 wins. So it's a great test for this guy, Ian Gary, who just has all this hype on him. You know, if he gets this win, it's going to propel him to close to, fighting top 5 contenders, because Neil Magny, I believe, is number 12 ranked right now. I just had it pulled up. Yeah, number 11. So that'll be a great matchup. And then a little further down, the first card on the main card of the night, Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munhoz. This is a great fight. Marlon Vera wins this. I believe he... So Sean O'Malley said if he beats Aljamain Sterling, he wants a rematch against Marlon Vera, because that was the one no contest that he kind of had. He kind of broke his foot in it, I believe.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. It was like in the early rounds he broke his foot.
But Marlon Vera, Cheeto, he's a really awesome dude. Yeah, really good guy. He's got like 17 kids. But really exciting fighter. But I think if he wins this, and Sean O'Malley wins, there's a good chance we could see a title fight between those two.
Yeah,
so
that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then we get down. I normally don't cover the prelims, but Got to give a nod to an old UFC great here, a guy that has a repaired leg, Chris Weidman.
Oh, dude, I
Yes.
forgot. This is it.
This is it.
He's back
On the card versus
His
Brad
leg
Tavares.
broke in half.
Heavy underdog at plus 220. I remember watching this fight live at my buddy Eddie's house when I used to watch the UFC fight at his place. And right after it happened, I took a video and sent it to you because
Yep.
you saw somebody. You remember those old. What the fuck were they? You like
Stretch
them?
Armstrongs.
Stretch Armstrongs. Yes, that's
His leg
what it looked
wrapped
like.
around his leg.
It just folded. His leg folded. I watched a leg snap live, and it was unbelievable. And it was hard to watch. But this is his first fight back. This is
like
a former
3 years.
champion.
3 years. I think.
Yeah, 3 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just give him credit for even coming back and being willing to do it. I feel like it's gonna be watching an egg out there. I'm just gonna be wary of a break or something. But this is a guy that people can't, sleep on him. I mean, he once held the title. It did come crazy irony here where in the first fight against Anderson Silva, one of the GOATs, he was beating Anderson nearly the whole fight. And then,
Anderson wrapped his leg around his leg.
No, that was the second fight.
Oh, shit,
Yeah,
was it?
The
Oh,
first
fuck.
fight, I believe it was the first fight.
That was the other gnarly leg break.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy is
Yeah.
it happened to him and it didn't happen
Full
previous.
circle.
Yeah, really. But I mean, Chris Weidman. A lot of people think that he beat Anderson Silva twice. Because the first
Yeah, 'cause
fight
it went split, right?
Yeah, no, he beat him, and I can't remember if it went to decision or not, but I want to say Silva caught him right at the end of the round
and
ended up
dropped
beating him.
yeah.
But then in the second fight, obviously Silva hit him with a leg kick and then broke his leg, and so Weidman ended
That
up
was one of
winning
the
the
gnarlier
title
ones.
by technicality. But
His leg boomeranged.
that was really nasty. It's hard watching that,
He's
man.
very skinny leg. People have very skinny legs skinny limbs when they break. It's so much worse.
Well, that's
than
why
like
his
a meaty
nickname
leg.
was so right.
spider.
Like, torso. His torso was kind of like thick, but his limbs were so
skinny.
long, just like a spider.
Yeah.
Daddy long leg.
Yeah, the good old daddy long leg. That's a spider he was.
But
They didn't specify which spider.
yeah,
Daddy long leg.
That's right, Daddy. Oh God. So he's going up against Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares is the heavy favorite at minus 270. This is a badass fighter. I want Chris Weidman to win, but it's going to be a tough test to beat Brad Tavares, who's a guy that's got a lot of hype coming around him lately. He's been winning a lot.
Big comeback fight. You
It
know?
is,
You think you'd want to take an easier one.
You would think so.
But hey, he's a warrior.
He is.
Just like somebody else I know.
Who?
John Daly.
Yeah. We aren't there
Oh, you
yet.
got there?
We're
Oh, you
almost
were-
there.
I
We
thought
still
you-
have the rec center too.
Oh, shit.
But I
fuck.
just want to cover these two fights just to remind you guys
It's going to be a long episode, guys.
It is. The finals of the Ultimate Fighter, Austin Hubbard, who fights out of Denver, Colorado, is going up against Kurt Hollabaugh. Dude, if you guys haven't been watching the Ultimate Fighter, holy fuck, man. Kurt Hollabaugh in this last fight went up against I can't remember the fucking dude's name. I watched this fight, and right afterwards they show Dana White, and Dana White's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And they show Michael Chandler, and he's just like, dude, it was almost like they felt bad for watching that. Like they just watched a street
I'm
fight.
going to have to watch it. I haven't watched any of the Ultimate Fighter, especially with all the bullshit.
These guys went at it for 3 rounds straight. I mean, this dude, I feel bad I'm forgetting his name right now, but he went up against Kurt Hollabaugh, and I mean, dude just took punishment and still stood in there. And I mean, I just give these guys credit. They're fucking warriors, and he earned the shot at being in the final against Austin Hubbard. I am leaning towards Hubbard because he fights out of Denver, but he is the favorite at minus 180. But if either one of these guys win, I'd be happy. That's why I love USC and not fully committed to either one of them. And then in the bantamweight, the Ultimate Fighter final, Brad Katona versus Cody Gibson. It's awesome watching these because, I mean, we've seen guys like Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner. We've seen other Ultimate Fighter winners, Nate Diaz and stuff. I don't think he won it, but, I mean, we've seen these guys come from Ultimate Fighters and become UFC legends. So pay attention to these guys.
A lot of people can say the Forrest Bartosh versus... What was it? Forrest Bartosh? What was his name?
Forrest Griffin and
Forrest
Bonner?
Griffin. Oh fuck! I'm just
Bartosh.
I don't know
You're
where
just
that
mixing
name.
words, man.
I hope that's a real name. Otherwise, I just made
Somebody's
something cool
real
up.
name.
But yeah, Stephan Bonner versus what was his name? Forrest. What did you say?
Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner.
That was like what created the UFC. You know?
It helps
that
propel
was like
it. Yeah.
people were like, "What the fuck was that?"
It was really in decline. Actually, I heard that like their numbers, things weren't looking really good. And then that night, like people were like, "Dude, you got to turn this on to Spike TV," and then it just blew up.
Spike, dude.
I miss it, dude. Fucking million ways
we
to
need
die.
another channel of just full men stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get into the rec center.
We're gonna go through it real quick.
Yeah, it's going to be real quick. I'm going to start out with mine. It is Untold, the story of Johnny Football. You go into this thinking, oh, man, it sucks that he almost killed himself. Like, if things got that bad. And then, like, halfway through, you're like, I can't believe what's going on. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, wow, he's still kind of an asshole. So, like,
Yeah.
you go through this whole fucking crazy. Meryl kind of watched it alongside of me, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, you hear about, like, what he did in college for Texas A&M. He literally built them a $700 million stadium in the 2 or 3 years that he was there.
Jesus.
They built it after he left, but if it wasn't for Johnny Football, Texas A&M would not be what it is today. He's also probably up there with a few guys as the biggest bust ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because
He just wanted to party, dude.
he did, and he said that. I think he did kind of realize, like, and there was one point they asked him, like, how much film did you study in college? And he's just like, none.
Yeah, zero.
None.
He literally
He
hold
said
up zero.
zero.
I think I had heard. I started it last night. I'm like 20 minutes in. Super fascinating, but I've seen so many posts about it. The team had said they can like track on the iPad how much film had been watched, and it was literally 0 minutes.
Yeah.
And from the little bit I watched last night, his buddy from college, like he said, he never once watched him pick up a playbook.
Yeah.
They just played.
Yeah.
I said to a buddy at work today, I was like, dude, he has that like John Daly, Mickey Mantle gene where he can go out there hungover and just ball out.
Yeah, because he's like, it was all about after football. It doesn't matter. Football was football, and he's like, and I knew I was going to do good, but like it was all about after.
Yep.
It's all about partying. And then, he hits the NFL, and it's that whole thing. It's like, I feel like Mahomes has that kind of Mickey Mantle gene where he has the other gene as well, like the Manning gene, if you will, that gene that's just like, I'm going to go and, dig into this so much that like you can't ever get past me because I'm just so much further into it than you could ever think to be. But yeah, Manziel just didn't have that part.
Oh yeah.
And that's what happened when he hit the NFL. It's like Jamarcus Russell all over again. When they're like, hey, go take this DVD home and watch all these plays we're going to install for you. And then he gets back and they're like, what'd you think of those plays? And he's like, install them all. They're great. And they're like, that was a blank DVD, you fucking idiot.
It's like, you got to watch. And I had heard too, maybe they said this on the episode or the documentary, but like that's why he fell so much in the draft, because NFL teams really pay attention to every detail, and apparently like 22 teams noticed that like this guy doesn't watch film. He just goes out there and plays. You know, and you can have all the talent in the world, but like you got to like, I mean,
especially if you're going to go to that next level.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got to put your full 150%.
But it doesn't focus, and that's the thing that sucks too. And I'm going to get off it. It's mainly high school, college, and a little bit of NFL.
Yeah.
And it doesn't talk anything about after the NFL. It doesn't talk about the CFL. It doesn't talk about any of that.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I think Netflix kind of fucked up on this one. I feel like they didn't do enough. I feel like, for one, it's only like an hour and some... I think it's only like an hour and 15 minutes. It's not that long. They could have probably made it 2 hours, and it would have been a lot better, because the way they cut it off at, you're just kind of like, wow, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it literally ends with like him still drinking beers with his friends.
Oh yeah,
at
he's
his
like
fucking
unapologetic.
mansion. Yeah,
he
just like,
doesn't care.
I do feel bad. Obviously, the dude has some fucking mental problems.
Yeah.
And he's been diagnosed bipolar and all this stuff, and that sucks. But it doesn't really seem like he's done much to change things.
It seems like he is the quintessential frat bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I feel you.
What's
I'm
your
looking
rec
forward
center?
to finishing it. I'm gonna recommend. It's a little on a heavy note, Painkiller on Netflix. Yeah, really good. It's about the whole opioid crisis. If anybody watched Dope Sick on Hulu, which was really good.
That was the other one. It's like a series on it, right?
Yeah, it was a series. This is also a series. It's on Netflix. It's caught Matthew Broderick on it. a few other stars on there. The chick from Orange is the New Black. But it's just really good because it kind of takes this different turn into the whole pain pill crisis. And it's just the thing, man. It's like I'm sure like 1 in 3 people has been affected by like the opioid crisis. We all know somebody. And yeah, it's just a heavy note. And so it's just a good show that kind of highlights that and the severity of it. So go check out Painkiller.
Yeah, it's definitely something, it's a very serious topic because our doctors basically turned us into fucking addicts to some degree.
Yeah, just to make money.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
It's insane when you really fucking hear
and it is
boiled
sports
down
related
like that.
Yeah, because we've heard so many times where like sports, and even like Rogers has talked about how like they just try to shove like these painkillers down. I mean, Brett Favre was addicted to them,
Yeah, most of these guys at one point or another, like Toradol is the one that they get injected with a lot, and it's like basically like super fucking ibuprofen.
Yeah,
but yeah, these guys are getting shot up with shit all the time, and it's a definite bummer, and you see them deal with that a lot afterwards. And this kind of parlays into the DDOE a little bit as to why marijuana has
that's a good point.
Basically fallen by the wayside, under the table, not necessarily out in the media with a lot of the bigger sports leagues. The MLB kind of eradicated it, which we're going to talk about shortly. The NBA has gotten rid of it like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know the last time an NBA player got popped with weed or anything like that. Kevin Durant brought it up. You brought that up. He's basically said, I don't know who isn't smoking weed more or less in the NBA.
Dude, Tracy McGrady looked high his whole career.
Yeah. A lot of those guys just got high before the game, halftime, during the game, didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you're seeing that now. A lot of these guys would, Jake Plummer, huge former Arizona Cardinals quarterback and Broncos quarterback, huge purveyor of he's
mushrooms.
Really into mushrooms, but he's also like, these guys need to be able to smoke weed to deal with pain and stuff because the shit you're giving them is killing them either way.
Well, see, I really like what he's doing too. He's got a huge mushroom farm. I think in northern,
like Fort Lupton or it's Greeley or somewhere.
Like
it's
that.
up north, yeah.
But he grows them, and not just psychedelic mushrooms, like all lion's mane, reishi, all of them. And because they're just really beneficial just for taking them. I need to look into some of those other ones, not just the psychedelic ones. But
God forbid.
Yeah, I have seen where there are studies out there that's shown that is one of the only things that helps with CTE. Because with CTE, it's like chronic trauma encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy.
I'm not smart enough to say it. But basically, it's like your brain. It's almost had like a stroke where you're just losing your brain, basically. But mushrooms, it helps
reconnect those things that have lost.
That's the only thing they found that causes neurogenesis, which can actually create neurons. There's really nothing out there that's been able to do that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and tie this into the DDOE. Hit me some John Daly.
Let's do it, my man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, live it large. I hit it hard.
And we are back for the final time of episode 47 of Fringe Fanatics. We are now officially 5 away from a full year
That's pretty
doing
cool.
This podcast.
Fuck
How
yeah,
fucking cool
man.
is that, dude?
That's awesome, dude.
And we've been talking about it for probably 3 now.
We need to start talking about what we might do for that episode.
That might honestly be pretty close to the draft.
Yeah, it should be. I think it'll probably be past that.
Oh, it might be 1 week past that.
Yeah.
Well, right before that, though, I mean, the leading up to it could be the draft show because I think it's going to be on a Wednesday.
We're doing that on a Wednesday.
Should we just do that as the show?
I figure we might because dude, drafts really only last half an hour. If people don't want to listen to our draft, that's fine, but we'll get crazy. We'll get drunk.
Okay. Anyways,
I'm just going to run through this real quick.
Yeah, it's a DDOE.
Failed marijuana test nearly ended John Singleton's career. Now
MLB player.
Astro Slugger is asking what if. This is a guy, John Singleton. If people don't remember, back in 2018, he got suspended 100 games for his third marijuana test that came back, positive. And he was in the minors at the time, and he went through a lot of mental health issues after this because he just came out and said he just didn't want to play baseball anymore. he had said that this, marijuana really helped him just like process life and be able to like deal with stress. And the MLB at that time had it on their banned substance list. Well, since then, I think it was what did I say, 2 or 3 years ago they took it off.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and so he got banned in 2018. That was 5 years ago. Well, this last season, this current season, he got brought back. I think the Cubs or somebody brought him back, and then he went to the Astros, and now he's filling in for Jose Abreu, star first baseman for the World Series Astros. And his first game back, he hit 2 homers and 5 RBIs.
Yeah.
And so in a statement, he said, like, what if? I spent 5 years of my life just trying to get my fucking life together. What if it wasn't on the ban
something that's now legal?
Yes, for something that's legal in 23 states.
Yeah.
If he was able just to, smoke and deal with life like so many other people, then, dude, he could have made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, we missed out on a great career, possibly.
Had 5 years in a career for baseball is a lot. That can establish a legacy, if you will. And I just bring it up because it's like what we talk about with like John Daly and these guys that sometimes substances help with their performance. And so
yeah, and they're not necessarily performance enhancing substances,
not at all,
so to speak. I mean, a lot of people do think that marijuana, it's not necessarily a performance enhancing substance, but it does enhance performance by the way it allows you to recover and things like that.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I mean, it is possible. We've seen shit like this with what's his name, Josh Gordon.
Yep.
Basically played himself out of the league because he couldn't stop smoking weed.
Yep.
And was heralded at one time when he came out, and even when he was in the league the first year, as maybe the best wide receiver we'd seen in
His
a while.
His nickname was Flash Gordon, dude.
Yeah.
He was super fast.
So, yeah, it's shit like that where it's like, could we literally have missed out on something over something as stupid as weed?
It's like a plant that grows out of the ground.
Yeah.
All our listeners can have their own opinions on it. That's fine, but we got ours, and it's a little more correct because we both partake. And the thing of it is like, yeah, we may not be super fucking successful people or whatever, but we will be.
You're damn right. We're pretty fucking motivated. We created a podcast out of thin air a year ago.
And we show up to fucking work every day because the thing of it is like, it's just like anything else, religion, politics, anything else. There's good and bad that comes with it, and then people that abuse it ruin it. And there's also people like us that kind of do everything a little more moderation. It's not like we fucking get high all day at work. I run a forklift. I don't smoke weed before or during work because I would stab somebody with a forklift probably. I don't even take that into question.
You got to be safe.
So this guy that had his first game back after those suspensions hits 2 homers and 5 RBIs. What could he have possibly done in those 5 years? He's now 31. He was 26 when he got
missed out on his prime
That's his
years,
prime, dude.
So his prime years were
I want to do a
taken
shot
away from him.
To John Singleton for token up and continue to smoke up and hit those homers and knock him out of the park for us, bro.
Knock him dead, John Singleton.
I hate to ever cheer for Astros, but you happen to be on the Astros.
He's the only non-cheater, so here's to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cheers to you, John Singleton, and cheers to you guys.
Yeah, cheers to everybody out there. We appreciate each and every one of you. Cheers, Chad.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
It's a good time, guys. Drink up.
Before this episode started, I almost said, I think this is going to be a shorter episode. But we've decided that's no longer anything I can say anymore because it doesn't even matter if I say it.
That's what happens when you
We're
have a
right
good time,
there.
dude.
Yeah,
We're here to
we have a great time.
Yeah.
And I love you, man. And I love each and every one of you out there. If you haven't yet, please like and follow us on all things you are listening or watching us on. And please like, share, subscribe, and follow on all things social media. Make sure you rate us 5 stars.
We'll be back next week.
Love you guys.